Hello? Before you dive into this audiobook, I'd like to inform you that if you wish to support the author of this fanfic, there's a link in the description. Also, please note that this novel was originally written in Chinese. Enjoy listening? Chapter 41 The Results of Cultivation. Shishi looked at Krillin and asked, Krillin, they are your brothers from Shaolin Temple. Krillin didn't dare to look at Shishi, but nodded timidly. Shishi frowned. Krillin, why are you afraid of them? The two bald heads looked at Shishi and Gaku, and then at Krillin. The tall brother said, Haha, I told you, you are only worthy of playing with children. The fat brother also said, that's right, don't joke, how can you still participate in the martial arts competition like this? Didn't I warn you that you will never achieve anything? Hey, Krillin, what number are you in the 3rd division? Krillin whispered, number 93. The tall brother said excitedly, Haha, great, they are my opponents, I am so happy. With that, the two brothers turned around and left, leaving a message, Haha, Krillin, please show mercy later, ha ha ha. Krillin's forehead was covered with cold sweat. When I was in Shaolin Temple, I was often bullied by them. I was finished. Shishi immediately encouraged, Krillin, don't be afraid of them, you will beat them up in a while. Krillin looked at Shishi, his eyes full of encouragement, without any pretense. Krillin was very moved and responded, Shishi, thank you. Gaku patted Krillin on the shoulder and said, Krillin, don't be afraid. We are the disciples of the world's #1 master, the god of martial arts, Master Roshi. If you meet your senior brother at that time, you will beat up your senior brother who looks down on you. Shishi also nodded, that's right, you have to remember that our teacher is Wu-Tian teacher. Don't lose face for the Kame-sen Ryu. Krillin looked at Gaku and Shishi seriously. Then he clenched his fists hard. Thank you for encouraging me. I will try my best. At this moment, the referee announced, next. Number 93 and number 94 of the 3rd division, please come on stage. Krillin's mouth twitched. No way, I haven't prepared yet, and it's my turn. Shishi and Gaku cast their supportive eyes at Krillin. Krillin felt the power and nodded deeply. I will try my best. Soon, Krillin stepped onto the ring. Krillin's tall and thin senior brother in Shaolin Temple also stepped onto the ring. It's been a year, and it's time to deal with little Krillin again. My hands are itching. The fat senior brother on the side crossed his arms and said proudly, so soon? Hehe, this is the #1 master in our Shaolin Temple. Krillin will have to lie down for another 10 days and a half a month. The thin senior brother started the starting posture, and Krillin stood opposite him blankly because of nervousness. The referee saw the two people on the stage and immediately announced the start. The thin senior brother raised his mouth slightly, shouted loudly, and rushed towards Krillin with a punch. The swift punch came, and in Krillin's eyes, it seemed to slow down countless times in an instant. The foundation of 8 months of hard training under Master Roshi is not to be underestimated. Krillin moved his body slightly and made a simple movement. Just like a small movement to stabilize the milk when delivering milk. He dodged the punch. He looked at his former senior brother, who seemed to be still immersed in the moment of punching and had not reacted. It was at this moment that Krillin saw countless flaws in his former senior brother. Suddenly, Krillin felt something in his heart. He seized the opportunity, stepped on the ground fiercely, and then kicked his senior brother's waist and abdomen fiercely. Pa! There was a loud noise. His senior brother was kicked out in a daze before he could react. His body hit the wall of the martial arts hall directly. Crack! His senior brother left a deep dent on the wall. Countless fine cracks spread around the dent. Seeing this scene, the whole martial arts hall was silent in an instant, and you could hear a pin drop. Even the sound of breathing was gone. Everyone looked at him and forgot to breathe for a while. This kick was too strong. Plop. Krillin's tall and thin senior brother fell off the wall. And everyone took a deep breath. So powerful. This kick is so cool. Krillin looked at his hands in disbelief, as if he still couldn't believe that he was so strong. The senior brother who used to bully him every day, is no longer his opponent. Shishi and Gaku smiled foolishly when they saw this scene. At this moment, the referee announced, number 93 wins. Krillin was surprised and said, Teacher Wu-Tian trained us so well, I didn't expect it. Shishi also nodded and agreed, yes, let's all do our best. I believe that the 3 of us can definitely get a good ranking. Yes. Soon, it was Gaku's turn to compete. Please invite contestants number 70 and number 75 to the stage. After entering the ring, Gaku looked at the afro on the opposite side and was a little absent-minded. Why does this person look so familiar? The afro on the opposite side raised the corners of his mouth high and laughed, ha ha ha, kid. You are really hitting the wall when you meet me. Son Gaku asked, oh, really, who are you? The man laughed with his hands on his hips. Me? I'm the fighting champion of the East City District, Satan. Looking at the posture of the young boxer opposite, Son Gaku was stunned, you are Satan. Why, you have heard of my name, are you scared? Seeing that both of them had come on stage, the referee pressed the stopwatch and shouted, the game begins. Son Gaku shook his head, comedians are not allowed to participate. Satan was stunned, what did you say? The next moment, Son Gaku suddenly rushed towards Satan and volleyed in the air. Satan's body suddenly flew backwards. Mr. Satan repeated the mistakes of Brother Krillin and once again printed a large human-shaped dent on the wall. Player number 70 wins. Chapter 42 Advancement to the Finals. Although Shishi, Gaku and Krillin were small, they all performed brilliantly in the trials and quickly won the respect of others. Please invite contestants number 23 and number 29 to the stage. After several battles, Shishi's confidence increased. It's my turn again, I'm going up, Krillin, Goku. Goku encouraged, well, come on Shishi. It's almost over, now we are all masters, you must be careful. Shishi nodded, well, thank you Goku, I will. As he said, Shishi jumped onto the ring. At the same time, a woman came up on the opposite side of the ring. The person had a delicate face and a hot body, especially with a beauty mole on her face, which was particularly attractive. Unfortunately, her opponent was a little girl. Her beauty was useless. Her name was Lan Fang, and she should have been one of the top 8 in this martial arts competition. Unfortunately, her opponent was Shishi. Lan Fang opened her starting posture and looked at Shishi. You, the bald guy, and the kid are all wearing the same martial arts uniform. Are you from the same sect? Shishi also imitated her and started the opening pose. Yes, the 3 of us are together. Lan Fang smiled and said, although you are all small, I can see that you 3 are very powerful. Your master is also very powerful, right? Shishi said, well, our master is naturally very powerful. He is the god of martial arts, Master Wu Tian. What? The god of martial arts, Master Wu Tian. When the people around heard this name, they all took a breath. No wonder the 3 little guys are so powerful. So they are the disciples of the god of martial arts, Master Rashi. Tisk tisk, it's amazing. Lan Fang looked at Shishi in surprise and said, if you are all disciples of Master Wu Tian, then it's no wonder you are so powerful. Shishi posed and looked at Lan Fang. Then he said, although our teacher Wu Tian is powerful, he is actually very lustful. If you want to become his disciple, I think he will be happy to accept you as his disciple. However, people like you will definitely be taken advantage of by that lustful old man. Lan Fang was stunned and speechless on the spot. Some people around who heard it laughed evilly, some covered their mouths, and some whispered. Not far behind Shishi, Jackie Chan stood there with a black face. Hey, Shishi, this girl has no emotional intelligence at all. She almost embarrassed me. Just at this moment, the referee shouted, start. Lan Fang rushed towards Shishi, trying to defeat her when she was not prepared. Shishi was kicked in the stomach and lost her balance and fell. Lan Fang did not give her a chance to breathe. She immediately chased after her and hit her with an elbow. She sat on Shishi's back and pressed her heavily to the ground. Shishi lay on the ground without saying a word. Krillin was shocked. Oh no, Shishi is too careless. Son Goku shook his head. It's okay, don't underestimate her. Really? Yeah. Seeing Shishi fall to the ground, Lan Fang was overjoyed and immediately jumped up and looked at the referee. I won. However, the referee did not announce that she won. The people behind the referee also looked at Lan Fang in disbelief. No, they looked behind Lan Fang. Lan Fang was shocked and quickly turned her head. Shishi stood up as if nothing had happened and lightly dusted off the dirt on her body. I didn't expect I'm so powerful. I didn't feel any pain from the attack just now. Shishi looked at Lan Fang and said, then it's my turn to fight back. As he said that, Shishi swung his little fist and was going to hit Lan Fang. Lan Fang was shocked and immediately stepped back. No, no, no. I give up. Congratulations, contestant number 23 won. You will participate in the finals of the World No. 1 Martial Arts Tournament. Wow, we're in the finals, Shishi is great. Second division, contestant number 70, contestant number 79. Soon, Krillin and Goku also won and entered the finals. The 3 of them gathered together and celebrated happily. Just then, a handsome young man walked up to them. Great, so you're here to participate in the World No. 1 Martial Arts Tournament. I'll definitely avenge my previous shame this time. Krillin, Shishi, and Goku all turned their heads and looked over. Son Goku was stunned. You are Yamcha. Yamcha was also stunned. What? I don't even know your name, how do you know mine? Son Goku asked, is it important? Yamcha said, yeah, it's not important. Last time in the desert, you knocked out several of my teeth. Today, I can finally get revenge by meeting you. In the past year, I have practiced very hard. I have entered the finals. I hope to meet you in the ring and use my Wolf Fang Wind Fist to avenge my previous shame. Son Goku smiled. It's almost the same as you. This year, I have practiced very happily. And I even started to like practicing from the bottom of my heart. So, if I meet you, I will not lose to you. I hope you don't get beaten by others. The 2 looked at each other for a while, and Yamcha left. Shishi and Krillin looked at Goku curiously. Who is that person? Shishi asked. When Bulma and I were looking for Dragon Ball, he robbed us in the desert and I beat him up. Shishi nodded. Oh, that's it? There were a lot of robbers near my house before, but since the fire was put out, my dad stopped robbing. And since then, the number of robbers in that area has decreased. Krillin said, great, the 3 of us have advanced. Why not take this time to tell Master Wu Tian the good news? Hearing this, Jackie Chan quickly took off his disguise and returned to the audience. It's really tiring to take them as apprentices. The finals will be held soon, and I have to change clothes and come quickly. Chapter 43 Reunion with Bulma. The World No. 1 Martial Arts Tournament arena was outdoors. The audience was buzzing. Because, at this moment, the finalists of the World No. 1 Martial Arts Tournament were announced. Master Roshi was relieved to see that all 3 of them had entered the finals. Goku, Krillin, and Shishi can all enter the finals. It's not easy to miss the match halfway. Hearing someone mention Goku's name, a blue-haired girl squeezed over. It was Bulma. She saw Master Roshi at a glance. You are Master Roshi. Master Roshi also looked at Bulma. You are. Master Roshi immediately remembered Bulma, but he couldn't remember her name. So it's you. You are the girl who went on an adventure with little Goku before. I remember. I also gave you the somersault cloud. Bulma nodded immediately. Yes, it's great that you still remember me. By the way, Master Roshi, where do you live? I remember that you lived on an island not far from the coast. How come I went to that island several times but couldn't find it? In her previous life, Bulma often went to Kame House, so how could she not recognize it? But she also knew that Master Roshi had moved. So, she went to find Goku and searched the surrounding islands. However, it was too difficult to find a little Goku in the vast sea of people, without the special mark of the tail, so he couldn't be found after several searches. Master Roshi nodded. Yes, I originally lived there, but because Goku, Krillin and Shishi had to practice, I took them to a bigger island together. Bulma was surprised. What? Master Roshi explained. I accepted several apprentices, one is Goku, one is called Krillin, and the other is a girl called Shishi. After 2 lives, how could Bulma not know Krillin? But how did Shishi end up at Master Roshi's place? Bulma immediately asked. Shishi, are you talking about Ox King's daughter? Master Roshi immediately nodded. Yes, it's Ox King's daughter, so you know her. As he spoke, Master Roshi became lecherous. Why, are you interested in coming to my island after the martial arts competition is over? Bulma immediately nodded. Okay, take me with you when you leave, I'm looking for Goku. Master Roshi blinked. Who is Goku to you? Why do you care so much about him? Bulma's face flushed. She covered her little face and whispered, I like her. Master Roshi was surprised. What? He's still a child. Bulma glanced at Master Roshi. People will grow up. Master Roshi couldn't help swallowing. Well, young people nowadays really know how to play, and they are starting to develop their skills. Bulma. While talking, Goku, Krillin and Shishi climbed over the wall and walked towards this side. However, when the 3 looked at Master Roshi, they all saw Bulma, but their reactions were different. Krillin had never seen Bulma before, and his face lit up when he saw her. Wow, what a beautiful girl. Shishi was stunned for a moment, and then a trace of vigilance appeared in her eyes, but she turned calm in the blink of an eye. Goku smiled and walked towards Bulma happily. Bulma, what's wrong with you? Bulma bent down and pinched Goku's face hard. Goku, you are such a jerk? I gave you the somersault cloud and took you to my house, but it's been almost a year and you haven't come to see me once. Are you forgetting me? Goku rubbed his face that was pinched red by Bulma, and said with a wronged look, it hurts so much, how could I forget you? You don't know, I practice with Master Roshi, every day from 4 in the morning to the evening, without slacking off for a single day. Bulma was not really angry, and immediately smiled. Really? Have you become stronger during this period? Son Goku nodded, of course. Goku looked at Bulma and said, Bulma, I haven't seen you for a while, you seem to have become more beautiful. Bulma scratched Goku's nose and smiled. Why, after not seeing you for a few months, have you learned to coax girls? Goku smiled. No, I didn't coax you to be happy. I'm telling the truth, did you perm your hair? Bulma touched the big curls of her hair and smiled. Yes, I permed my hair. The big waves that are popular recently, do they look good? Yeah, they look good. Bulma turned her eyes to Shishi and Krillin. Curious, Krillin, Shishi, hello. It's rare for such a beautiful girl to greet Krillin. Krillin raised his eyes to look at Bulma and said shyly, hello, please take care of me. Shishi nodded slightly and said lightly, see you again, Bulma. Even though Bulma saw the hostility hidden in Shishi's eyes, she still just smiled and said nothing. Even if she regarded herself as the biggest competitor for Goku, Bulma did not hate Shishi. She was just a little girl. The jealous behavior of little girls shown in little Shishi was not only not annoying, but also particularly cute. Bulma, who lived a new life, had already understood it. In this world, she was the only one who liked Goku who did not change his original intention. She always liked the passionate boy son Goku whose heart was not polluted by money. Shishi was different from her. She was just an ordinary woman. She wanted Goku to take her to a better life. With the first opportunity, Bulma knew that Goku would definitely be hers in this life. And if Shishi still treated Goku the same way after growing up, she could only listen to his father's arrangement and be Goku's little one. In the future, she will have her own place to manage and her own capsule company to support her financially. She will not have the right to scold Goku, nor will she have any reason to complain that Goku does not make money. It has been a long time since she saw little Goku. Bulma likes him more and more. If you love him, make him happy and let him be himself. Just at this time, the host began to announce, the world's #1 martial arts tournament is about to begin. Please gather at the martial arts venue as soon as possible, the top 8 contestants. Chapter 44 The official competition begins. Hearing the host announce the assembly, Bulma immediately shouted, okay, it's time to assemble, you all hurry over. Son Goku nodded, well, see you later, we're leaving. Goku, Shishi, and Krillin rushed to the martial arts hall, and the 3 of them jumped and easily flipped in. Looking at the little Goku, Bulma's face was full of smiles. He hasn't changed, he's still a little kid. I'm 17 now, he's 13, I have to wait until he's 18, I'm 22, still a little older. Oh. Bulma's eyes flashed with wisdom. After Goku becomes an adult, I'll gather the Dragon Ball again and make a wish to be 4 years younger, so that I will be the same age as Son Goku. Well, it's decided happily. When Bulma came back from consciousness, she found that Master Roshi had disappeared. Hey, where's Master Roshi? A moment later, the dedicated host appeared on the martial arts arena. Sorry to have kept you waiting. The 21st World No. 1 Martial Arts Tournament has officially begun. The order of the top 8 is as follows. First match, Krillin vs. Buck. Second match, Jackie Chan vs. Yamcha. Third match, Namu vs. Shishi. Fourth match, Son Goku vs. Keenan. The referee shouted. In addition, the prize for the champion of this tournament is 500,000 yuan. Before the game begins, let's ask the head of the martial arts tournament to give a speech. Pa 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 pa. The crowd applauded. A dog-headed man walked onto the stage. Woof woof. Then he turned and walked away. In other occasions, it is usually a long speech. But in this martial arts tournament, it ended with just 2 words, and the audience cheered. The director said it well. It's touching. The director said it brilliantly. The host immediately said, thank you for the director's brilliant speech. Next, please invite the first contestant to the stage, Klin, Buck. Quack, quack. After a round of applause, Klin and Buck both went on stage. Instantly, the whole martial arts meet was filled with stench. Many people couldn't help but pinch their noses, and some even put on gas masks. The contestants were in place, and the host immediately introduced them. This contestant Klin is only 13 years old, the youngest contestant in the martial arts meet. This stinky contestant is called Buck, and he has never taken a bath since he was born. You two, are you ready? If you fall off the stage, you lose. If you can't get up after counting to 10, you lose, and if you shout to admit defeat, you lose. There is no time limit for the match. First match, start. This fight was extremely disgusting. Klin was defeated repeatedly by the stench and almost fainted. Fortunately, Goku pointed out Krillin's advantage at the beginning of the game. Krillin, you have no nose. In an instant, Krillin seemed to be assisted by God, and used the martial arts skills he learned from Master Roshi, and easily defeated the stinky Buck. The host was very pleased to see Krillin's wonderful performance. And this is martial arts. Krillin's martial arts are too strong, and he won the first game in one go. The audience immediately burst into warm applause. I didn't expect that guy to be so powerful. You can't judge a person by his appearance. Krillin returned to the backstage and shared the joy of victory with Goku and Shishi. After Krillin and Buck left the ring, the host announced again. Second match, Jackie Chan and Yamcha, please come on stage. Soon, Jackie Chan and Yamcha both came on stage. Yamcha set up his starting posture and carefully looked at Jackie Chan, while Jackie Chan stood with his hands behind his back, looking like a martial arts master. Yamcha looked for a long time, but still couldn't figure out the truth. Strange, no posture at all? Moreover, I can't feel his momentum. But this old man defeated the enemy with one move in the preliminaries, and I don't know him at all. I have to take the initiative to attack and test it. When both of them stood up, the referee shouted, start. The next moment, Yamcha suddenly rushed towards Jackie Chan and swept his foot horizontally. Jackie Chan didn't move his feet, just leaned back a little, and easily avoided the attack. Yamcha missed the first attack, quickly retracted his legs, and punched Jackie Chan in the face with his backhand. Jackie Chan remained calm, tilted his head slightly, and dodged the attack again. Yamcha missed again. He was a little anxious, and immediately attacked the lower body, sweeping the leg. Jackie Chan jumped back and dodged again. After more than 10 consecutive moves, Yamcha didn't even touch Jackie Chan's hair. Jackie Chan still remained calm, but Yamcha was already exhausted. At this moment, he knew that he was no match for Jackie Chan. Even the referee saw it and immediately explained, although Yamcha's attack speed was very fast, Jackie Chan was faster and easily dodged it. His skills are really not like those of an old man. Jackie Chan also gave Yamcha a direct and pertinent opinion. You have a lot of practical experience, but you have too many unnecessary moves. Sweat broke out on his forehead. What did you say? I said you have too many useless moves. Yamcha was slightly angry. Damn it, I was going to save this move for Son Goku. In that case, let me show you how powerful my Wolf Fang Wind Fist is. While speaking, Yamcha used his strongest move at the moment, Wolf Fang Wind Fist. However, he rushed towards Jackie Chan with a strong aura. But as soon as they met, he was swept away by Jackie Chan and flew to the bottom of the ring. The winner was immediately decided. The referee immediately announced, Yamcha flew out of the ring, Jackie Chan won. Krillin was a little panicked when he saw Jackie Chan so sharp. That old man is really powerful. In this case, it will be my turn to fight him in the 5th match. Shishi immediately encouraged, it's okay, Krillin. You are much better than that Yamcha, and you will definitely beat Jackie Chan. Krillin was a little confused about Jackie Chan's background, so he turned to look at Goku and asked, Goku, what do you think? Son Goku thought seriously and said, a guy like that is already very powerful in the world. If we meet him, we just need to do our best. Krillin was stunned for a moment, and said in surprise, that's right. I have now advanced to the top 4 of the world's #1 martial arts competition, which is already very powerful. Shishi and Goku echoed, that's right, you are already very powerful. Krillin scratched his head. Hehe, yes. But we have already fought to this point. Who doesn't want to go further? Just at this moment, the referee's voice came into his ears. The third match, Namu vs Shishi, please come on stage. Krillin said quickly, Shishi, it's your turn, come on. Son Goku also nodded vigorously at Shishi, come on. Shishi clenched his fists, replied with a reassuring expression, and then ran to the ring with his short legs. Both of them were ready to start, and the referee didn't delay at all, and shouted directly, the third match begins. Chapter 45 Shishi's Wonderful Performance. Nanwu put his hands together, as if praying for something. As soon as Shishi came on stage, she quickly started warming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Seeing the look of little Shishi, Nanwu said apologetically, little sister, although you are just a child. But I have reasons to win, so I'm sorry. Shishi stopped warming up and started to move. Don't give in to me, I have gone through the same rigorous training as Goku. It's not that easy to beat me. As she spoke, Shishi suddenly rushed towards Nanwu. Because she was small, she had to know how to avoid her own weaknesses and attack the weaknesses of others. After she got close, she suddenly attacked Nanwu's lower body. Her moves were as fast as lightning. However, Nanwu easily dodged this move and jumped into the air. Where did you go? Shishi lost her target and hurriedly looked for Nanwu's figure. At this moment, a shadow was reflected on her face against the sun. Shishi looked up and saw Nemo kicking towards her. It happened in a flash. Shishi kicked the floor tiles under her feet hard, and her body slid 2 meters behind the ring. She avoided Nemo's kick steadily. One wave of attack just ended, and the next wave of attack came again. Nemo kicked Shishi suddenly. Shishi showed a hint of pride at the corner of her mouth, and waved her hands suddenly, accurately blocking Nemo's kick without revealing any flaws. Just when Shishi felt that the opponent's attack was a little weaker, she suddenly launched a counterattack. She stepped on the ground hard, jumped up, and kicked Nemo in the abdomen. Even though Nemo was tall and strong, he was sweating at this moment. Feeling the extraordinary power of this kick, he did not dare to be arrogant, and immediately crossed his hands to defend her kick. Sure enough, the kick landed on his crossed arms, seemingly defending, but still made his arms numb, and his body retreated 2 steps. Unexpectedly, Shishi made another surprise move. The next moment, she did a backflip and landed on her knees. When her knees straightened, her body turned into a cannonball and crashed into Nanwu. Shishi's attack was effective, and Nanwu suddenly flew backwards. Shishi took advantage of the victory and pursued him, wanting to knock him down in one fell swoop. But Nanwu was an adult after all, taller than her and with longer legs than her. During the backward flight, Shishi kicked back and kicked horizontally, and her whole body flew backwards. Fortunately, she reacted quickly, and rolled over during the backward flight and landed steadily on the ground. Who knew that Nanwu stepped on the pillar of the Martial Arts Association during the backward flight? The next moment, he used the power of his back kick to shoot towards Shishi. Shishi, who had just stood firm, had no time to react at all, and was kicked in the abdomen by Nanwu. She screamed and flew backwards, landing heavily on the ring. Shishi lay on the ground, holding her stomach and groaning miserably. Nanwu looked at Shishi and said reluctantly, I'm sorry, I have a reason to win, you admit defeat. At this moment, Krillin and Goku's cheers suddenly came from the backstage. Son Goku, Shishi, come on, go all out. Krillin also shouted, Shishi, you're doing well, keep going, don't lose to him. Shishi stood up immediately after hearing the encouragement from the two. She wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and swung her hand towards Nanwu again. Goku is watching me fight, so I won't lose so easily. Seeing Shishi regain her fighting spirit, Nanwu was shocked and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Muttered to himself, I should have just knocked her down. Seeing such a powerful Shishi, Bulma was also surprised. At this moment, Shishi's strength has surpassed most adults. Although she is still young, she has surpassed the peak strength of her previous life. Although she didn't practice martial arts much in her previous life, Bulma looked at his opponent Nanwu, a very powerful martial artist. In her previous life, she had hardly missed any of the world's best martial arts competitions, so she naturally knew Nemo. This guy called Nemo was able to compete with little Goku. Shishi was evenly matched with him. Shishi was just a child? If Shishi was a little older in a few years, it would be easy for him to defeat him. Bulma murmured to herself, is this the butterfly effect? Shishi in this life will actually embark on the path of a martial artist, but I don't know how far he can go. However, Bulma shook her head again when she thought of the later period. Now she has caught up with Goku, but she will still be left behind by Goku in the future. If only the Earthlings are counted, then she is indeed a very powerful one. However, when Raditz came and opened the era of the Great Universe, the strength of the Earthlings could not keep up. Only Krillin, who had experienced the journey to Namek, could keep up a little. It's a pity that after Goku died of illness, except for Gohan and Trunks, everyone else died in battle. She thought of many possibilities to change the future. She couldn't stop the Saiyan from coming to Earth. Even if she defeated Android 17 and 18, it wouldn't be a big deal. After all, even Trunks, who was not as good as Goku in martial arts, could kill Android 17 and 18 after training in the past. Babadai and Majin Buu will appear on Earth in the later period. What worries Bulma the most is that there will be unknown people who will exchange souls with Goku in the future. So, no matter how strong Goku becomes alone, it is not enough. There is only one best way to protect the Earth. That is to make Goku stronger. And at the same time, there must be people who can match Goku's strength. Even if several people can check Goku at the same time, it's okay. In this way, as long as the person who exchanged Goku's body is temporarily subdued. Using the Dragon Ball, Goku can definitely be exchanged back. Chapter 46 Brother, you smell so good. Bulma touched a delicate bracelet in her hand and pondered secretly. The only one who can fight with Goku in the future is Vegeta, who will invade the Earth in the future. Saiyan's talent is beyond the reach of Earthlings. It's a pity that he is too conceited and sometimes would rather die than adapt. That guy can be a backup, we can't just rely on him. It would be great if there was someone with Saiyan's talent and a personality like Earthlings with a big picture view. Suddenly, Bulma had an idea. Trunks said that Gohan in that time and space had excellent talent, and his strength far exceeded Goku. Bulma suddenly thought of something, looked at Shishi again, and couldn't help but doubt. Is Shishi's gene so strong? At this moment, Shishi and Nanryu entered a white-hot state. At the critical moment, Shishi actually launched Kamehameha. Although the power was not very strong, but this move blew Nanryu out of the field, and the winner was decided. The audience immediately burst into thunderous applause. The referee also announced Shishi's victory at this moment. Bulma was shocked to see this scene. I don't know if she will marry Goku as a wife and have children so early in this life if she embarks on martial arts. However, seeing that Shishi on the ring was only 1.2 meters tall, and Goku and Krillin who were watching the fight from behind the ring were also children, Bulma smiled bitterly again. She really had too many random thoughts. Goku and Shishi were still so young, they were still children. And it was too early to think about these things. Bulma also began to reflect on herself. As a person who had experienced it, she had too many plans for the future. If she kept asking Goku to do this and that according to her own arrangements, what would be the difference between that and Shishi forcing him to make money in the future? Therefore, she could only use her own advantages to provide him with certain material support at critical moments. At this moment, the defeated Nanryu walked out of the field in a daze, and happened to pass by Bulma. Bulma's mind moved, and she immediately called Nanryu. Hey, are you going to buy water for the village after winning the martial arts competition? Nanryu was surprised. You, how do you know? In the previous life, after the Dragon Ball radar broke down, Bulma went on an adventure with Goku, and when he accidentally communicated with Goku, he knew about the deeds of little Goku and the dinosaur man, and naturally knew that Nanryu came to participate in the martial arts competition because his hometown lacked water. Bulma did not explain, but took out a universal capsule and handed it to Nanryu. Don't ask me why I know this. Take it. Fill up the water in the river and bring it back. It will be enough for your village to use for a few days. As long as you persist for a few days, the river in your village will be flowing. Nanryu's pupils shrank and he immediately asked, Who are you? Bulma smiled and said, I am just the daughter of the richest man in the world. What? Okay, go buy some water and go home. Nanryu refused and said, No need for the capsule. Teacher Wu Tian has already given me a universal capsule filled with water in the gym. Thank you. Bulma was stunned for a moment. The capsule that Teacher Wu Tian gave you in the gym. Nanryu nodded. Yes, the villagers are still waiting for me to bring water back, so goodbye. Well, bye. After that, Nanryu walked away and disappeared. Bulma touched his chin and thought. In the martial arts hall, Master Roshi gave him a capsule. Jackie Chan's skill is even stronger than Master Roshi's firefighting. One Kamehameha can push the moon away. Master Roshi disappeared at the beginning. The picture of Master Roshi's bald head overlapped with the picture of Jackie Chan, and Bulma's pupils shrank. I know, it turns out that he pretended to be Jackie Chan, and they are actually the same person. Just then, the referee announced, the fourth game, Son Goku and Keenan will fight. Please come on stage. Soon, a dinosaur man walked onto the ring. He was huge, with wings on his back and well-developed muscles. It was obviously not an ordinary person, but a monster man. He was Goku's opponent, Keenan. At the same time, Goku also stepped onto the ring and moved on his own. Seeing that the little Goku, who was oblivious to the world, was actually doing the leg-stretching action, Keenan looked unhappy. Little devil, look at me beating your ass to piss. Son Goku also looked at Keenan, and his little nose couldn't help sniffing. Hey, you smell so good, brother? What a pity. Keenan was curious, what a pity. Son Goku continued to warm up and said, I am very good at roasting dinosaurs. You are fat but not greasy. You will be sizzling when roasted. However, since you have awakened your spiritual intelligence, I can't roast you, so I feel pity. Keenan was furious. What, you little brat, you are so arrogant. Just at this moment, the referee shouted, the game begins. Keenan relied on his size advantage and suddenly kicked Son Goku. His fat thighs were a little bigger than the whole body of little Goku, so blocking was ineffective. However, it was precisely because of his large size that he had more loopholes. Little Goku did not retreat but advanced, relying on attack to avoid the kick, and kicked Kanan in the face with his backhand. With a bang, Kanan fell to the ground. The referee was also shocked. He immediately followed up with the commentary, amazing? Kanan attacked first, but Son Goku didn't retreat but advanced instead. While dodging the attack, he backhandedly kicked Kanan in the face, knocking him down. Chapter 47, the top 4 are taken by Kame Senryu. Damn it. Kanan rubbed his face and stood up. Little brat, you made me angry. Look at my power. As he spoke, Kinan's huge fist swept towards Goku with a hook. Son Goku once again did not retreat but advanced, blocking Kinan's attack with his left hand, and punched Kinan in the abdomen with his right hand. Kinan groaned miserably, holding his stomach, his face twisted. Unexpectedly, little Goku did not give him a chance to breathe. Went around behind him, grabbed Kinan's tail, threw him up, and then slapped him hard on the ground. Pa! With a loud bang, Kinan came into close contact with the ground. The sound was deafening, and the whole martial arts competition area could hear it clearly. The referee was also surprised to see this scene. Oh my god! The strength of player Sun is amazing. He is so small, but he threw up such a big Kinan and slammed him to the ground. It's really not easy. Son Goku looked at Kinan who was lying on the ground. He saw his mouth twitching a few times, and before the referee counted a few seconds, he stood up again. Son Goku blinked and started his hand again. However, the next second Kinan directly announced his surrender. The referee also announced the result of the game at this moment. Son Goku won. Krillin and Shishi cheered when they saw this scene. Shishi, Goku, you are awesome. Krillin, Goku, you are awesome, you won in just a few moves. Shishi nodded and said, yes, you are too strong, Goku. You won the game without much effort. Unlike me, I had to work very hard to defeat Nemo. Goku smiled faintly. It's different, Nemo's strength is far superior to Kinan. Shishi suddenly realized, and his eyes flashed with stars again. Goku, you are really awesome, you can see that. Son Goku smiled awkwardly, and Shishi started to make fun of him again. If he was proud, he would look stupid. After hanging out with kids for a long time, his mentality has become that of a kid. Jackie Chan couldn't help but sweat when he saw little Goku win easily. This kid is so awesome, he hasn't used much physical strength until now. I won't lose to my apprentice, will I? Soon, the referee continued to advance the progress of the game. After a wonderful competition, the top 4 of this martial arts tournament have been born. They are Jackie Chan, Krillin, Shishi and Son Goku. Let's celebrate warmly. Pa 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 pa. The audience burst into warm applause. Bulma looked at the final 4 and shrugged helplessly. Good guy, Master Roshi led 3 apprentices, and took the top 4, and there was no one else. Just fight among themselves. Do they still need to participate in the martial arts tournament? Bulma tilted her head and looked at Goku, muttering, however, Master Roshi is thoughtful, fearing that they will be proud. In order to let them know that there are people who are better than you, he actually came to the battlefield himself. Although he is not very serious, this teacher is very qualified. The people in the audience looked at the old man and 3 children on the ring, and their faces were also different. The top 4 are born. I didn't expect that it was an old man and 3 children. It's amazing. I heard that they are all disciples of Master Roshi. That's right. Master Roshi is really amazing. Yes, yes. Master Roshi's 3 disciples actually accounted for 3 of the top 4. The title of the god of martial arts really belongs to him. Seeing that the other 3 people on the ring, as well as himself, were praised by the audience, Jackie Chan was secretly relieved. After the audience's high enthusiasm faded, the referee began to announce the next game. The 5th game starts now. Please welcome Jackie Chan and Krillin to the stage. Krillin, come on. Jackie Chan is very powerful. Just go all out. Krillin nodded. Well, even if I can't beat him, I will try my best to consume his physical strength. I don't believe that the 3 of us taking turns can't beat an old man. The champion of the martial arts tournament must belong to our Kame Ryu. Shishi said with bright eyes. Well, come on. Son Goku cast an encouraging look at Krillin. He knew that the old man was Master Roshi. Regardless of winning or losing, the Kame Ryu has dominated the martial arts tournament. Unlike in the past, both Krillin and Jackie Chan have advanced from fighting in the crowd. The 2 did not say a word. Krillin knew that he was no match for his opponent, so he took the lead. He stepped on the ground and punched Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan did not dare to be arrogant and quickly retreated to avoid it. Krillin knew that this tentative attack would not hit before he attacked. His moves changed quickly, and he immediately turned to side kicks, whip kicks, straight punches, and hooks. A series of moves suddenly followed. Jackie Chan was in a panic for a while. Fortunately, he did not underestimate Krillin and blocked Krillin's combos one by one. The 2 quickly distanced themselves. Jackie Chan smiled and said, you have 2 tricks, I'm going to attack. Krillin immediately became alert. In an instant, Jackie Chan moved. I didn't see how he attacked, but a mark of being hit suddenly appeared on Krillin's face, and his body flew backwards unconsciously. Until his body hit the back wall of the martial arts competition, he fell heavily to the ground. The referee took a breath and explained, what happened just now? Krillin flew backwards all of a sudden. Chapter 48 Winning him fairly. Krillin fell to the ground with a confused look on his face. He looked up at Jackie Chan. Your punch is so fast. I didn't see it at all. Goku and Shishi, who were watching in the backstage, were also surprised. That move just now was really fast. Goku calculated that even if he saw it clearly, he might not be able to dodge it. What's more, that move was so fast. It could obviously defeat Krillin. But he just stopped there and didn't continue to attack. It was obviously a deliberate release. At this moment, the 3 of them seemed very strong. But there was still a certain gap with Master Roshi. At this time, Shishi shouted to Krillin from the back, Krillin, come on, have you forgotten our purpose? Jackie Chan was stunned for a moment. What is the purpose of the three guys? Suddenly, Jackie Chan realized something. Except for him, the three of the top four in the martial arts competition are his disciples. Could it be that these three guys saw that he was very strong? So they wanted Krillin to exhaust his physical strength and consume his strength. Then Shishi admitted defeat to Son Goku. Let the strongest Goku save his strength to defeat him? Jackie Chan showed a barely perceptible smile. The little guys actually started to use their brains and cooperate at this time. However, this routine is not effective against masters with overwhelming strength. Moreover, it violates the principles of martial artists. Good, if they do this, they will have a topic. It's just right to use this topic to educate the three apprentices later. Jackie Chan walked towards Krillin who was still sitting on the ground. Surrender quickly, otherwise, I won't be so gentle this time. Krillin immediately stood up and took the starting position. Just come at me. Jackie Chan's eyes condensed and shouted, watch it. The next moment, his hand showed the posture of a snake fist and suddenly hit Krillin. Krillin stared at Jackie Chan with his eyes. Finally, at the moment he made a move, he saw his moves clearly. I saw it. Krillin rushed out and blocked Jackie Chan's snake-shaped punch. The two touched and separated without any anxiety. Jackie Chan's eyes flashed with surprise. Very good, you can actually see my moves clearly. It's not easy. I haven't seen someone who can keep up with my speed for a long time. Krillin once again took a serious opening move. You will see it today. I am the apprentice of Master Wu Tian, but I am not as weak as you think. Krillin rushed towards Jackie Chan, and Jackie Chan also rushed towards Krillin. The two figures overlapped in an instant and became afterimages, and then separated in an instant. However, the two changed positions, each replaced their own positions, and both of them were back to back. Son Goku shouted, Krillin. Plop. Krillin fell down, and Jackie Chan still stood steadily on the ring. The referee immediately ran over. Krillin fell down. Jackie Chan urged, hurry up and start the countdown. The referee immediately started the countdown. 1, 2, 3, 4. Krillin was about to lose, but when the referee counted to 8, Krillin stood up again. It hurts so much, it hurts so much. The referee's countdown stopped abruptly, and then he exclaimed, stand up? Krillin stood up again. But, who can tell me what happened just now? Jackie Chan said, I really can't do anything to you, then I'll show you. After that, Jackie Chan and Krillin acted out the scene just now with moves and speed that the audience and referees could understand, and then explained how Krillin fell down. After listening to the performance and explanation of the two, the referee was shocked. It's wonderful. To be honest, this is the first time I've seen such amazing kung fu. The strength of the two is really unfathomable. The audience also burst into warm applause. Great, great, awesome. After explaining the previous fight, the referee shouted again, okay, thank you for your explanation. Then let's continue the game. The two started a wonderful duel again. However, Jackie Chan suddenly saw Goku and Shishi who were watching the fight from the backstage, and felt something was wrong. He was ready to take down Krillin in one fell swoop. So, in the continued duel, Jackie Chan showed even stronger strength. Even if Krillin could see his moves clearly, whether he could dodge them was another matter. Besides, it was just Master Roshi's flat attack, which could be used in combos. Soon, Krillin was hit head-on and fainted. The referee started counting down again. 10, 9, 8, 1. Krillin failed to stand up, Jackie Chan won. The staff moved Krillin to the backstage, and he woke up slowly. Goku and Shishi both praised him for his good performance and greatly consumed his opponent's physical strength. Krillin, who was originally disappointed, immediately became happy. At this moment, the referee announced the next match again. Next, let's start the sixth match. Please invite Son Goku and Shishi to the stage. Shishi immediately said, Goku, it's our turn. I will admit defeat as soon as I get on stage, so that you can keep your full strength to fight Jackie Chan. Son Goku looked at Shishi and shook his head. I thought about it and felt that this was not a good idea. Shishi, when you fight me, you should go all out and use everything you have learned. Shishi was stunned. Why? Is the plan changing? Because Jackie Chan and Krillin consumed a lot of energy in the battle. If I fight you, I will win without fighting. Obviously, I will take advantage of my energy. I am in full condition and fight an old man who has consumed a lot of energy. Even if I win, it will not be glorious. So, after thinking about it, I still think that I should win him fair and square. Chapter 49 If I win, I will marry you when I grow up. After hearing that Goku cancelled the original plan, Shishi was a little anxious, but, we are ourselves. Goku interrupted Shishi again. Do you lose to me deliberately? The three of us have been practicing for 8 months. You just admit that you have to show me the way, and you have no performance to prove that your opportunity is not willing to say that Shishi will be unwilling. However, I am willing to let me do. Son Goku. Krillin almost didn't hold it. He was originally beaten by Jackie Chan, and the trauma made him very painful. After a long time, he sat up. Now I am eating melons on the side, and you two are sneering at my face. My heart starts to hurt again, it's so uncomfortable. Just at this moment, the referee's voice came in, urging again, please invite Son Goku and Shishi to the stage. Krillin said hurriedly, Goku, Shishi, you guys go up quickly, we're going to be late. Shishi nodded. Let's go, Goku, we're going to be late. I'm sure I can't beat you, so I might as well admit defeat. Gaku grabbed Shishi's hand, and Shishi suddenly blushed when Gaku pulled her hand like this. She lowered her head slightly. Gaku. Son Gaku looked at Shishi seriously and said, Shishi, please, fight me with all your strength. Shishi was a little entangled and said, but. The audience outside began to urge, and Son Gaku saw that time was running out. So he immediately said, Shishi, don't you like me? Shishi was stunned, and her face, which was already blushing, turned red again. That rosy little face seemed like a ripe apple. It was no secret that she liked Gaku. And Gaku said this at this time. Was he going to confess? Shishi's heart suddenly beat violently, and her breathing became rapid, as if she was going to suffocate in the next moment. Gaku looked at Shishi seriously and said, Shishi, you have been good to me these days. Although I have never said it, I have always seen it. If you beat me this time, I promise you that I will marry you as my bride when I grow up. Shishi was shocked, her eyes bright, and said, Gaku, I am not dreaming, is it true? At this moment, the urging voice of the referee came in again. Please invite Son Gaku and Shishi to the stage to compete. Son Gaku nodded again, of course it is true, but you have to beat me. Shishi nodded vigorously. Yeah. The two walked towards the ring. However, halfway through, Shishi suddenly found something wrong. What if I lose? Will Gaku never talk to me again? However, the two have already arrived at the ring. At this moment, Shishi simply likes Gaku, without any reason. She wanted to ask this question, but seeing Gaku full of fighting spirit, she couldn't ask it. Gaku didn't say it, then if she lost, the worst case is to continue this relationship, which is not bad. Shishi took a deep breath and stabilized her state. In this battle, in order to defeat Gaku, she had to give her all. Soon, both of them finished warming up, and then they all started to fight. The spectators cheered. Good. These two are the disciples of Master Wu Tian, the battle must be exciting. Yes, a girl is so strong, I'm looking forward to it. Jackie Chan was obviously stunned when he saw the two warming up and fighting. These two little guys are actually going all out to fight, how interesting. Bulma was also slightly dazed when she saw this scene. Knowing that they can't beat Gaku, they still have to go all out? Tisk, little Shishi is serious, and she has the momentum of a martial artist. As the referee said start, Shishi rushed towards Gaku. She kicked Gaku hard. Gaku immediately raised his arm to block Shishi's foot. At the moment of collision, Shishi immediately retracted her foot and punched Gaku in the face with a backhand. Gaku raised one arm again to block the attack. While blocking Shishi's attack, Gaku kicked. Shishi also reacted very quickly. Seeing that Gaku was about to kick her, she stepped on the ground and jumped into the air. Just after dodging Gaku's kick, Shishi swept her leg heavily in the air. Seeing that this move was too powerful to block, Gaku quickly leaned back to avoid Shishi's whip kick. The larger the range of a person's charged attack, the greater the flaw at the moment the attack ends. Shishi's attack missed at this moment, and her body was still in the air, which obviously left a big flaw for her opponent. Gaku did not let up at all, stepped on the ground hard, and attacked Shishi with an elbow. Because there was no leverage point, Shishi could only bear this attack. With a bang, Shishi flew backwards. Seeing that Gaku did not let Shishi go at all, the people watching were shocked. Does this boy know what's going on? He doesn't even give in to a girl when fighting with her. Such a cute girl, and she's my junior sister, how could you do that? Damn it, I'm so angry now. Another person asked, then what? Then I was just angry for a moment. Seeing Gaku and Shishi's fierce fighting, without any sign of giving in, Bulma was also secretly shocked. Gaku, this silly boy, doesn't he know how to give in to Shishi? As soon as the words fell, Bulma smiled bitterly. But that's true, if he knew these, he wouldn't be Gaku. Chapter 50 I will never be robbed. Gaku and Shishi's moves became faster and faster. Soon, there were only the blurred afterimages of the two fighting each other in the air, and the pa-pa-pa sound of the two fists and feet colliding. After a fierce collision, the two quickly bounced away and pulled away, and the round ended. Shishi wiped the sweat from her forehead and said, Gaku, you are so awesome. I almost didn't dodge the attack that suddenly dodged behind me just now. Son Gaku laughed and said, I prepared that move for a long time, but you still dodged it. You are also very awesome. He, Gaku, don't praise me, I will be proud. I must beat you. Son Gaku made a starting gesture, just come at me, I won't lose. The spectators saw the wonderful duel between the two and forgot to applaud at this moment, because it was too exciting. In the eyes of the audience, although the speed of their fighting was not clear, their bodies could be seen. The fight between the two was as fast as lightning and extremely exciting. So awesome. Is this really a fight between children? So exciting. Sure enough, when it comes to the finals, all the skills are real. It was said that a new round of fighting began here. Shishi stumped the ground and rushed towards Gaku. Gaku's figure flashed and just dodged Shishi's headbutt. Before he could attack her, Shishi changed her moves halfway and hit Gaku in the face with an elbow. Gaku was hit and his body was unstable. At this moment, Shishi suddenly kicked Gaku in the chin. Gaku flew backwards with a miserable groan. It was easy to beat Gaku to lose his balance. Shishi knew that she couldn't relax at this moment. At this time, if she grasped it well, she could win in one fell swoop. At the moment of knocking Gaku away, Shishi stumped the ground and kicked Gaku. Just before kicking Gaku, Gaku thrust his back upwards and dodged Shishi. Shishi brushed past Gaku from behind. Gaku quickly rolled over and landed steadily on the ground. At the same time, Shishi also landed on the ring. She spread her hands and said to Gaku, "Let me show you the moves I learned, see if you can catch me." Son Gaku was stunned. What? The next moment, Shishi's figure suddenly disappeared, and countless Shishi's afterimages appeared around Gaku. Afterimage fist. Hee, awesome, right? Son Gaku's mouth twisted. Watch me. As he spoke, Gaku suddenly launched an attack at an afterimage. With a bang, Shishi flew backwards and fell heavily to the ground. Shishi said frustratedly, "It's a pity that you cracked it." At this moment, Son Gaku also posed for the afterimage fist. "You haven't mastered the afterimage punch yet, look at mine." As he spoke, Son Gaku's body quickly disappeared, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into several afterimages. Shishi took a defensive posture and looked around. Suddenly, she saw Gaku's real body from the afterimage, and her eyes lit up in an instant. "Found you." The next moment, Shishi suddenly kicked Gaku's real body. However, at the moment the attack arrived, her foot just overlapped with the afterimage, and did not touch the entity. Shishi's pupils shrank. Oops. It happened that before Shishi finished the attack and had not yet retracted the move, Son Gaku's real body appeared and slapped Shishi's abdomen. With a muffled bang, Shishi flew backwards. It happened that there was a grass field not far behind her. When she landed, she found that she was already standing outside the field. Shishi's eyes, which were originally lively, were suddenly surrounded by mist, and the scene in front of her was blurred. "Wow, I lost." As she said this, Shishi rubbed her eyes with both hands and burst into tears. At this moment, the referee shouted loudly, "Shishi fell out of the ring, Son Gaku won." Warm applause and cheers broke out outside the ring. "Wonderful, too wonderful. This competition is really worth watching. It's so amazing, the little girl is also amazing. Don't cry, it's just a loss, you are already amazing, Shishi." Some people have begun to comfort Shishi who fell out of the ring, but her crying still continued. Bulma looked at Shishi sitting on the grass, and couldn't help but walk towards her, ready to comfort her and then take her away. Unexpectedly, Bulma had just walked a few steps closer. Son Gaku jumped down from the ring and helped her up. "Shishi, don't cry. Your martial arts are almost catching up with mine now. It's amazing." Shishi was hugged by Gaku, her body trembled slightly, and she also reached out to hug Gaku. Her chin was placed on one of Gaku's shoulders, and 2 tears fell again. "Wow, Gaku, I lost. Do you not like me anymore in the future?" As she spoke, Shishi broke free from Gaku's arms, pulled a little distance, and looked at Gaku with tears in her eyes. Gaku reached out to wipe away Shishi's tears and smiled. "How is that possible? You are so cute, I like you very much. However, my dream is to be the strongest martial artist. You must try hard to keep up with me." Shishi was stunned, and then her eyes immediately brightened a lot. "Gaku, I will definitely continue to work hard. After the martial arts competition is over, let's go back and continue to practice, okay?" Son Gaku touched Shishi's head and smiled. "Okay, that's what I plan to do." Shishi immediately smiled brightly and said, "Then I'll go backstage first." "Yes." With that, Shishi jumped and ran backstage. Looking at the two of them just being close together, Bulma was stunned for a moment. "No way. Has my home been robbed?" Chapter 51 Finals, Master vs Disciple. Finally, it's time for the finals. After watching the wonderful fight between Gaku and Shishi, the referees and the audience began to look forward to this final battle. Everyone believed that this battle would be even more exciting. Dear guests, the decisive moment has finally arrived, that is, the final battle of the world's first martial arts tournament. Who will be the champion of this world's first martial arts tournament, Son Gaku or Jackie Chan? We have finally ushered in the most critical moment. Please come on stage, both players. Cheng Long and little Gaku soon stood on the stage. Although the two were very different in age, they were equally impressive. Jackie Chan was white-haired but energetic. Little Gaku was in a bright uniform, his eyes were lively and his body was agile. The game begins. As the referee shouted, the two rushed towards each other. The battle began, and the atmosphere suddenly became tense. Little Gaku took the lead in attacking, and a fierce attack was directed at Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan dodged the attack with a flash, and quickly counterattacked, punching Gaku. The fight between the two was not like before, from testing to fierce, but it was like entering a white-hot battle from the beginning. Especially Gaku. His attack was no longer as cautious as before, as if he had liberated himself in an instant, and the attack was faster and stronger than before. He moved around Jackie Chan like the wind, looking for a breakthrough. Once he had a chance, he would attack without hesitation. The two fought back and forth, and their fists and feet turned into afterimages, making it hard to predict. But the sound of breaking through the air explained the intensity of their fight. Their figures shuttled quickly on the ring, and every confrontation was thrilling. The audience was deeply attracted by this wonderful duel, and cheers and shouts came one after another. "FK, I said he didn't let the little girl go, he beat her till she cried. It turns out this little guy is so strong. I let him down a lot in the last game, I underestimated him. That's right, he's so strong. You said he didn't know how to take care of girls. It's clear that he didn't use his full strength in the fight with little Shishi just now. However, the opponent Jackie Chan is really unfathomable. He's so old, but he can still be so fast, I can't see clearly. It's so exciting. Come on. Good fight." Shishi, who was watching the game, was also surprised to see the fight between Goku and Jackie Chan. She said in disbelief, I didn't expect Goku to be so much stronger than me. Krillin nodded, yes, he is really strong. However, I am curious, the three of us obviously received the same training, how could he be so strong? The gap is too big, right? Shishi said, because he had been training for a long time before training. He forced us to be much stronger before training. It is reasonable that he is stronger than us now. Krillin was stunned and asked back, although it is true. We train together every day with the same intensity. But his strength is one level higher than ours, aren't you jealous? Shishi shook her head, then looked at Goku fighting on the ring with shining eyes, and said, no jealousy. The stronger Goku is, the happier I am, and the more I admire him. Of course, I will continue to work hard to catch up with him. Krillin was also watching the game, but when he heard Shishi say this, he suddenly felt sour in his heart. Sure enough, girls like the strongest. Krillin clenched his fist and said seriously, in the future, I will continue to work hard to practice. I must also catch up with Goku. No, I will work harder and harder, I will surpass Goku. I also want beautiful girls to like me. Krillin's eyes became more determined. Shishi suddenly turned his head and glanced at Krillin, and then encouraged, Krillin, you should also try your best. Krillin was stunned for a moment, and then asked shyly, Shishi, if my martial arts surpass Goku, will you like me? Shishi said directly, impossible? How can you surpass Goku? I mean if. There is no if, Goku is the strongest. Shishi said firmly. Krillin sighed, okay. However, at this moment, Shishi looked at Krillin again, and continued to add, if your martial arts are better than Goku, I won't like you either. But there should be other girls who like you. Shishi, you are so cruel, you actually gave me a nice guy card. Krillin was already quite shocked, and Shishi's addition instantly broke his defense. Sure enough, lies don't hurt people, the truth is the sharp knife. On the ring, the battle between little Goku and Jackie Chan became more and more intense. Both of them are very strong, and in order to win, they each used all their skills. Jackie Chan used Snake Fist, Tiger Fist, Drunken Fist, etc. Little Goku used Mad Dog Fist. In addition to fists and feet, even teeth were used. The more this happened, the more exciting the battle became. This is not only a contest of strength, but also a game of wisdom. The referee also gave a brief explanation when the two ended their rounds. The breathtaking battle continues in this final. So far, the two are still evenly matched. Let's continue to watch and see the two show more exciting martial arts. Chapter 52, Heart of Martial Arts. The battle between the two continued for a while, but the winner was still undecided. Son Goku thought that if he went all out, he could defeat Jackie Chan, that is, Master Roshi. However, no matter how hard he tried, he still couldn't do anything to Jackie Chan. Although he didn't lose to Jackie Chan, he still felt a sense of loss at this moment. When he came out of the mountain, he was much stronger than the original little Goku. But with a deeper foundation, he practiced with Master Roshi for less than a year, and only reached the same level as the little Goku in the original work? If that's all, he doesn't know if he can still turn the tide when Piccolo Daimao appears. But how can he go further? He has tried very hard, not to mention relying on the blood of Saiyan. He has practiced hard for so many years, but he still hasn't stood out from the Earthlings. Even Master Roshi, an old man, can't beat him. What should he do? A trace of confusion also flooded into his mind. Just when he was distracted, Jackie Chan noticed that little Goku was not in the right state, and suddenly attacked him. After catching a flaw, a set of combos flowed smoothly, directly hitting Son Goku back again and again. With Jackie Chan's split kick at the end, little Goku fell to the ground. At this moment, amazing applause broke out from the audience. Old man, you did a great job. You are worthy of being an old generation of martial artists, so amazing. Jackie Chan's combo is so cool. Mixed in the cheers and applause, the shouts of Shishi, Krillin, and Bulma came. Go Goku, come on. Stand up, Goku. According to Son Goku's previous performance, this attack only put him at a disadvantage, and it shouldn't cause him to lose. Jackie Chan frowned and walked to Son Goku's side. This attack can't possibly knock you down. Hurry up and stand up, you are already very powerful, you almost beat me. Why did you suddenly lose focus? Martial arts is not only a contest of strength, but also a contest of will and spirit. Stand up. Hearing Jackie Chan's voice, Son Goku stood up with a somersault. He looked at Jackie Chan, that is, Master Roshi. In order to let his disciples know that there are people who are better than people. In order to let his disciples not be satisfied with their current achievements. In order to let his disciples know that the road of martial arts is not smooth. At an old age, he still pretended to be Jackie Chan to participate in the martial arts meeting. As a teacher who can do this, he deserves the title of the god of martial arts. What he said just now is right. Martial arts is not only a contest of strength, but also a contest of will and spirit. If the spirit and will collapse, then the defeat is a foregone conclusion. He remembered that Vegeta, the existence known as the Appetizer Tower. His strength is not weaker than Son Goku. Or in other words, every time Goku breaks through, he can catch up with Son Goku in a short time through training. However, what he lacks compared to Son Goku is his mental will. Every time he encounters a strong enemy, he bombards with the prince's fighting method. If he crushes the opponent with strength, it's fine. If he finds that he is not as strong as the opponent after using the big move, he will immediately wilt and let others slaughter him. But the original Son Goku is completely different from the enemy. Even if he knows that he can't win, he is still full of fighting spirit. He still fights and deals with the enemy in his own way, or find the enemy's flaws to turn defeat into victory, or win by breaking through himself. In an instant, a feeling that will affect his life penetrated his mind. At this moment, Son Goku's mind became much clearer. Thinking so much, it was just a mental trance, and it only took a few seconds. Son Goku was shocked and devoted himself to the battle again. This time, Son Goku took the initiative to attack, and his swift fists blasted towards Jackie Chan. Da-da-da. Jackie Chan smiled, then took a strange step, retreated continuously, and kept dodging Son Goku's fierce attack. As the opponent kept dodging, Son Goku's attack was also declining in momentum and power. He seemed to have noticed something while fighting. It was something very profound. Yes, it was the control of chi. At the beginning, his attack was so fierce that the opponent did not dare to confront him. However, as the attack was constantly dodged or blocked by the opponent, the next series of attacks became weaker, and they had long lost the unrivaled edge when they just attacked. This may be the weakness of the prince's fighting method. In addition, Son Goku also had an inexplicable feeling when Jackie Chan dodged. There was no extra movement in his dodging, and Jackie Chan's dodging was just right, as if he was dodging the attack by moving his body. Although it was only a rudimentary form, his evasive movements are like Ultra Instinct. Son Goku suddenly realized that Master Roshi had climbed the Karen Tower before, and his peak strength was stronger than his own. Moreover, he has lived for more than 300 years. Both in life and martial arts have been tempered by the years. I have only practiced hard for 10 years. Even if his strength is similar to his, it is nothing. From other dimensions. He is now at most a beast and a reckless man. In an instant, Son Goku's mind seemed to flash with lightning, illuminating his future. Son Goku was secretly happy, and he wanted to shout, "I understand." He thought that he would definitely learn something real from Master Roshi, and he finally did it. This is the true heart of martial arts. This is the cornerstone of the original Son Goku's continuous strengthening. At this moment, Jackie Chan's foot slammed Son Goku in the face. With a bang, Son Goku fell straight down, dizzy. Jackie Chan retracted his foot and turned to look at the referee. "Referee, count down quickly." Chapter 53 Moon, you shouldn't come out. The referee saw Son Goku fall down and immediately came over to count down. Unexpectedly, before he could take 2 steps, Son Goku slapped the ground, suddenly jumped up, and started to move again. His steps were steady, and his whole body was full of energy. The referee was overjoyed. "Stand up." Contestant Son stood up. Now it seems that although Son Goku was slightly at a disadvantage just now, but contestant Son is young after all, and has a good physical fitness. He is still energetic now, and old man Jackie Chan has begun to pant. It seems that contestant Goku will take the lead soon, because contestant Jackie Chan is a little overwhelmed. Let's wait and see what will happen next. After listening to the referee's explanation, Jackie Chan couldn't help cursing. "What? Nonsense? You actually said I was overwhelmed." As he spoke, Jackie Chan turned from defense to offense. His fists turned into countless after-images, and attacked Son Goku with clever attacks. In an instant, Son Goku became the one who defended and dodged again. The two figures kept flashing and colliding on the ring. The audience also cheered. In the switch between offense and defense, Son Goku also deeply experienced the fun of fighting. He only thought about how to break the opponent's defense, how to hit the opponent, how to avoid the opponent's attack. In the continuous battle, Son Goku immediately felt that the pressure of his battle was gradually reduced. The reason is simple. First, Jackie Chan, Master Roshi's physical strength has decreased. And second, he has improved and gradually adapted to the opponent's moves and habits. After all, Goku used to bully the weak, and there was no opponent who could fight with him. And Master Roshi is really extraordinary. He tried his best but still failed to win. This gave him the opportunity to hone himself. His physical strength is still sufficient. As long as the battle continues like this, victory is within reach. This battle really made Son Goku gain a lot. Only by devoting himself to it, and not thinking about the consequences of victory and failure, can he constantly break through himself in the battle. In order not to disappoint his teacher, Son Goku planned to stop. Unexpectedly, Jackie Chan suddenly became serious at this moment. "Unfortunately, you will lose this game. In the past, only one person had to let me use this trick, and now, you are the second one." Son Goku's eyes condensed. "Oh my god, Wanguo Jing Tian Pom?" Son Goku seemed to remember something. He raised his head suddenly. It was sunset, and a full moon was hanging high in the sky, but fortunately, the tail has not grown yet. Son Goku secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Instead of looking at the moon, he looked at Jackie Chan. As Jackie Chan shouted Wanguo Jing Tian Pom, a golden electric current suddenly wrapped around Son Goku's whole body. In an instant, he only felt a severe pain all over his body. His arms, legs and feet were all paralyzed by the Wanguo Jing Tian Pom, and his breath was also suppressed, and he could not muster the strength to resist. Master Roshi performed the 10,000 Nations Shocking Palm while saying, "Although I can't move you with the 10,000 Nations Shocking Palm, I can't move either. However, if you are hit by this move, you will feel extremely painful. If it lasts for a long time, you may even die. Quickly surrender, otherwise you will die. Son Goku didn't want to persist and wanted to admit defeat directly. But if he was attacked by the magic of the 10,000 nations shocking palm, he couldn't bear the pain and just gave up directly. It would show that he had no perseverance. Hold on for a while before giving up. At this moment, Son Goku suddenly felt his anus tighten. There was a hole in his pants, and his tail grew out at this moment. Son Goku thought it was not good. Being controlled by this move that was like an electric current sweeping through his body, he couldn't control himself well at all. I admit. Before he finished the words of admitting defeat, it was as if a very strong pulse hit Goku's heart. In an instant, he lost consciousness. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Son Goku turned into a giant ape. The audience and the referee were all surprised. Wow, what a powerful transformation. The referee's forehead broke out in cold sweat and he was surprised. What's going on? Son Goku just suddenly grew a tail and now he has turned into a giant ape. Jackie Chan also broke out in cold sweat. Damn, he is so powerful after the transformation that even my 10,000 nations shocking palm is useless. Son Goku, who had transformed into a giant ape, broke away from the control of the 10,000 nations shocking palm and immediately began to destroy things indiscriminately. Krillin and Shishi immediately stood up. Goku, stop transforming, it's too dangerous. Yes, Goku, stop transforming. At this moment, Bulma revealed the secret of the transformation. This is not a move. Once he sees the full moon, he will lose his mind and turn into a gorilla to destroy everything. The referee was surprised and said, in this case, I have no choice but to leave my job and hide. Hearing Bulma's words, Jackie Chan was shocked. He looked up at the sky. Sure enough, there was a full moon before it got dark. Seeing the crazy giant ape, he had an idea in his mind in an instant. So, there is only one way to solve the problem. The next moment, Master Roshi took off his clothes, his aura condensed, and his muscles swelled in an instant. Bulma already knew the result and did not move rashly, but looked up at the full moon. As if to say goodbye, moon, you shouldn't have come out. The next moment, Jackie Chan's hands shone with a strong light. Kamiha Chi Gong. A Kamehameha with maximum power suddenly erupted. The strong wind made everyone around the ring cover their eyes. Boom. After a loud noise, the giant ape disappeared. Even the broken thatched house behind the martial arts meeting collapsed. Krillin and Shishi ran over. Goku. Goku, where is he? Krillin looked around, but couldn't see Goku. He couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine. Little Goku is dead. Shishi couldn't see Goku either, and was devastated. She trembled, pointed at Jackie Chan and cried, you bastard, you killed Goku, I'm going to avenge you. Chapter 54, The Curtain Falls. As they said that, Shishi and Krillin were about to rush towards Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's anus tightened. Wait, he's not dead. Jackie Chan pointed to the ruins, where a naked body was lying with a furry tail behind it. Goku. Goku is still alive. Shishi and Krillin's faces immediately brightened. Jackie Chan immediately explained, it was not little Goku that was destroyed by my shockwave, but the moon. The moon. Everyone was stunned and turned to look at the sky. The bright moon that was just hanging high suddenly disappeared at this moment. The moon is really gone. Jackie Chan explained, in this way, little Goku will not become a giant ape because of the moon. However, this is too ridiculous. The moon appreciation on the 15th cannot be carried out, and eating mooncakes can only be cancelled. The host looked at the sky and couldn't help but be dazed. This is really terrible. The moon was actually destroyed by Qigong. There is no way to celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival in the future. Just at this time, Jackie Chan roared, what are you talking about? Count quickly. The host was startled and immediately started counting for little Goku. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just after counting to 8, little Goku suddenly stood up. A slight breeze blew by, and little Goku shivered. Hey, it's chilly, what's going on? He looked down and found that he was naked. He looked up and glanced. In addition to Shishi, Krillin and Bulma, there were countless strangers looking at him. Little Goku was startled and immediately covered the bird with both hands. Jackie Chan complained, look, if you count faster. He can't stand up at all, and the championship should be mine. When Bulma saw the naked little Goku, a hint of cunning appeared on her face. I haven't seen the naked little Goku for a long time, I miss it so much. Shishi and Krillin breathed a sigh of relief. Krillin, great, Goku is still alive. Shishi, as long as he is alive, the moon and other things are not that important. Suddenly, Shishi turned his head and looked at Krillin. Krillin was stunned, why are you looking at me? You should be wearing underwear, right? Krillin was stunned, what do you mean? Shishi said, you can't let Goku fight that old man naked, right? You two have the same size clothes and shoes. Why don't you go up and take off your coat and shoes for him? Krillin originally wanted to go, but after Shishi reminded him, he felt sour and didn't want to go. At this moment, the referee announced, wait a moment, please allow me to suspend the game. Sorry, Son Goku, please put on your clothes and fight again. Our world's first martial arts competition is a serious competition. Son Goku felt the existence of the tail and found that the moon was no longer in the sky. At this moment, he also understood that he had just lost control and transformed. The moon was destroyed by Master Roshi, and then it was transformed back. At this moment, Krillin walked onto the ring. Goku, I'll lend you my clothes. Son Goku shook his head, forget it, no need to change clothes. You saw the power of Ki Blast just now, it's much stronger than me, I'll admit defeat. Krillin, then you have to change too, so many people are not wearing clothes, how inappropriate? What's more, Shishi is still staring at you? Don't worry about me, I'm wearing underwear. Son Goku quickly glanced at Shishi. She covered her red cheeks with her hands, but still secretly glanced at him through her fingers. Son Goku was startled, and immediately covered his lower body and said, Krillin, give it to me quickly. After that, Krillin took off his coat and handed it to Goku. Goku hurriedly put on Krillin's clothes. Then he walked to the ring. Host, I give up. The host was stunned. The old man has little physical strength left, don't you want to fight again? Son Goku shook his head, if the old man aimed his Kigong at me, I would be dead, so I think I should take the initiative to give up. Jackie Chan immediately gave Goku a thumbs up. Young man, you have good martial arts ethics, I give you a thumbs up. From this point, it can be seen that your teacher must be a respectable martial artist. Son Goku. This time he even praised himself, my teacher is really thick-skinned. Seeing Goku admit defeat, the referee immediately shouted into the microphone, congratulations, Jackie Chan won the championship in this martial arts competition. This game is so exciting. In the world's #1 martial arts competition, we can actually see such a wonderful battle scene. Please give our champion Jackie Chan and runner-up Son Goku a warm applause. They performed very well. After the host finished speaking, the audience burst into warm applause, which continued. All guests have worked hard. Now please leave the stage one by one. See you at the next meeting. After Jackie Chan received the 500,000 yuan prize for the competition, he hurried to change his clothes. Goku walked off the ring, and Krillin and Shishi immediately rushed up and gave him a friendly hug. Bulma also came over and watched Goku and the other 3 children jumping and celebrating with each other. And an anti-smile inadvertently appeared on her face. Chapter 55. It turns out that Bulma is a rich woman. After celebrating for a long time, they found that Master Roshi was not there. Krillin could not help but feel a little regretful, so the teacher didn't watch the game. Just then, Master Roshi came late. He was wearing a suit, a hat, and sunglasses. Hey, I'm here. Shishi looked at Master Roshi excitedly and said, Master Mutin, didn't you watch the game just now? Master Roshi immediately explained, of course I did. I held it in for a long time to watch the game. After Goku and the powerful old man finished fighting, I hurried to the toilet. Krillin and Shishi suddenly realized. So that's how it is. So you watched all our matches. Master Roshi nodded, of course. You 3 all performed very well. Shishi said a little disappointedly, it's a pity that Goku still lost. Son Goku said, not at all, I'm not as strong as him, it's normal to lose. Master Roshi laughed and said, that's right, it's normal to lose. There are always people better than you, there are so many powerful people in the world. Even if you have already shined in the martial arts meeting, you still can't be satisfied with your current results. The road to martial arts is destined to be bumpy, and the real training is behind. Shishi, Goku and Krillin nodded. I understand. Master Roshi secretly breathed a sigh of relief. In order to make this truth clear, he paid too much. Master Roshi touched the 500,000 bonus in his pocket and laughed, okay, to reward you 3 for your outstanding performance. I'll take you to a restaurant today and have a good meal. Great. Let's go to a restaurant. Bulma looked at Master Roshi's back and muttered to herself, it seems that Goku spent all his bonus on more than 400,000 in this meal, right? But it's good, so he doesn't have money to go out and mess around. Fortunately, although Goku has a big appetite, he only ate the amount of more than a dozen people in this meal, so he didn't spend too much money. Bulma thought that the battle probably didn't consume most of his physical strength. Krillin looked at Master Roshi and asked, Master Mutin, when we go back, do we still have to increase our loads, continue to deliver milk and cultivate the land? Do you want to teach us some skills? Master Roshi shook his head, no, I don't have anything to teach you anymore. It's better to go our separate ways from today. You should go out and explore the world. Krillin, is that so? Master Roshi, yes. Shishi said disappointedly, Master Mutin is going to drive us away now? I feel I still have a lot of room for improvement. Master Roshi smiled and said, young eagles can only fly when they leave their mother's shelter, and the same is true for you. Shishi and Krillin nodded. That makes sense. Bulma shrugged, what a pity, I said I would move to Kame House to continue cultivating with Goku. It seems that there is no chance. Son Goku was stunned. You are going to live with me in Kame House for a while, so you don't have to go to school. Bulma nodded, yes, I have already finished my studies for the next few years by myself. And I have obtained my diploma, so there is no need to go to school. Hearing this, Son Goku was shocked. But then he thought about it, Bulma is a genius girl. And she will probably learn those basic knowledge in one go. Bulma's IQ is estimated to be 200, and she will be able to make a time machine in the future. Her brain is completely different from that of ordinary people, and it is a waste to go to school. Son Goku nodded, so that's the case. Why don't you go on an adventure with me? Bulma nodded and said, okay. Just at this moment, Master Roshi's eyes turned instantly. Then he immediately stood up, by the way, I remembered something. The others all looked at Master Roshi. Teacher, what's the matter? Shishi, Krillin and Goku all looked at Master Roshi. Master Roshi said, during the duel, I saw Shishi and Krillin both used Kamehameha. Everyone nodded. Then what? Master Roshi continued, it seems that they didn't use it well, and the power was not enough. So, I think you need to stay for a while. While laying a solid foundation, I will teach you some breath use. In this way, you can not only use Kamehameha better. If your understanding is high enough, you can also develop skills that suit you. Shishi, Krillin and Goku's eyes lit up. Really? That's great. Master Roshi said, then let's find a hotel to stay for one night today, and go back to Kame House tomorrow, right? Bulma immediately said, no, I brought a plane, and I'll take everyone back tonight. What? Everyone looked at Bulma. Bulma said, make way, I'll open the capsule. Everyone stepped back and made way for a large open space. Bulma pressed the capsule and threw it towards the open space. With a bang, a large plane appeared at the spot. Bulma walked over first. Come on, let's all get on the plane. Master Roshi took a breath. Turning his head to look at Goku, he asked, what does Bulma's family do? How come they have such a big private plane? Son Goku said, the Universal Capsule Company is their family's business. Hearing this, Krillin, Shishi and Master Roshi were all surprised. Master Roshi, this is incredible, the richest man in the world. Krillin, it turns out that Goku's friend is a rich woman. Shishi, it turns out that her family is so rich, then my difficulty is even greater. Chapter 56 Gravity Bracelet. Bulma knew that after the martial arts tournament, Goku was supposed to go find the 4 stars, his grandfather's legacy. So on the way to find the 4 stars, he had a feud with the Red Ribbon Army. So many chain events happened later. But this world is different. Son Gohan is not dead, so there is no point in looking for the Dragon Ball. So Bulma planned to put all her energy into Son Goku, to make him stronger than he was in the original history. This is why Bulma wanted to come to Kame House. Before going back, Bulma took everyone to the source of the river to dredge the river. That was the territory of the dinosaur man Keenan. With Goku's face, Bulma directly asked Keenan to discipline their people and stop blocking the river. The total time consumed was only an hour. After the busy work, Bulma took everyone to Kame House. Kame House looks big, but there are only 2 bedrooms. Originally, Shishi and Lankai lived in one room. Goku, Krillin, and Master Roshi squeezed in another room. Bulma is an adult after all, and she can't squeeze with Ranchi anymore. Fortunately, Goku still has the capsule house that Bulma gave him. So, Goku and Bulma put the house not far from Master Roshi's house, and they stayed here at night. Bulma looked at the island behind him and couldn't help but sigh, so you live on this island? There are so many people living on this island, no wonder I couldn't find it. Son Goku nodded, yes, there are many people living on this island. Many people order milk, so we practice by delivering milk. Moreover, this island is big enough, there is a river, and you can swim. Our previous practice was like 2 days in 1 day, busy and tiring. Even rest was controlled, and rest was also counted as practice. Bulma smiled, okay, then I forgive you for not coming to me. I invented something at home, I'll give you a gift. As she said that, Bulma took out a bracelet and handed it to Son Goku. Huh, what is this? Son Goku took the bracelet given by Bulma and pondered it secretly. Suddenly, he thought of the device that Son Gohan had in the original work, which would transform into the costume of Super Saiyan Superman with one click. Son Goku couldn't help asking, is it a dressing bracelet? Bulma raised her eyebrows, dressing bracelet. Just click a button and you will change your clothes. Bulma shrugged, am I sick? Why did you study for so long and make that thing? As she said that, Bulma took out a cigarette and lit it by herself. Hearing that it was not a dressing bracelet, Son Goku was stunned again, then what is this you gave me? Bulma took a puff of cigarette and said, I see you always practice with a tortoise shell on your back every day, it's too ugly and affects your movements. So I researched some things at home and made a gravity bracelet for you. As long as you wear this bracelet, you can adjust your own weight. You can adjust your weight to 0.1 times, 10 times the current weight, and adjust d.1 times your weight in each level. Son Goku was surprised. Gravity bracelet. Bulma nodded. Yeah, yes, isn't this more convenient than a tortoise shell? In the future, if you want to practice, just adjust the multiple and press it, and you will be loaded according to the multiple of your weight. When you get used to the gravity and want to improve it again, then adjust it again, up to 10 times. In fact, I can also make 100 times, but the materials are hard to get. And it's too dangerous to make you a 100 times gravity bracelet. You are still young, and 100 times gravity may crush you at once. So I didn't make it so high. It's better to do it step by step. Son Goku was very surprised. He touched the bracelet and his eyes were full of excitement. Bulma, you are so amazing. Originally, Son Goku was thinking that when he was strong enough, he would ask Bulma to help him study the gravity room. As a result, before he could say anything, she took the initiative to study the gravity bracelet. This is something that has never appeared in the original book. This thing is much more practical than the gravity room. After all, the gravity room is fixed there, and you can only practice in it. The gravity bracelet is different. As long as you wear it, you can carry weight wherever you want to practice. With this, why worry about not being able to improve your strength? Son Goku is so happy. See, Goku was as happy as a child, and Bulma also showed a bright smile on her face. Said, as long as you like it. I like it, of course I like it. Son Goku continued, well, Bulma, I will try double gravity now. How to do it? There is only one button. Bulma explained. Press the button, let it bounce up, and move the paddle down. Ask for flowers. Son Goku nodded. Yeah. Son Goku followed Bulma's instructions and began to adjust the gravity. When he fiddled with the paddle, he immediately felt his burden increased. Fiddled with it again, it increased again. Until the bracelet's multiplier was adjusted to 4 times, Son Goku felt the effort of moving. Bulma looked at the multiplier and was shocked. Hey, don't play with your life. 4 times the gravity right after you come up will crush you. Son Goku nodded and immediately fiddled with the paddle back. Finally, the gravity was adjusted to 2 times his own gravity, which was the most suitable weight for him at the moment. Great, starting tomorrow, I don't have to carry the turtle shell. I can take it with them to practice. Bulma smiled with her hands on her hips. If you show off to them, Shishi and Krillin will probably ask me for it. Son Goku was stunned. What should I do? Bulma shrugged. What can I do? They are all your friends. I am embarrassed to not give them. I will work overtime tonight and make 2 more. Give 1 to each of them. Thank you, Bulma. Bulma blew out a smoke ring and smiled faintly. I haven't seen you for a year, and you are polite to me again. Hehe. Bulma put out the cigarette butt and said, okay, don't you say you still have to practice tomorrow? Go take a shower and go to bed. As she said that, Bulma pushed Goku into the bathroom. Let me give you a bath, and let me check it by the way. I haven't seen little Goku for a year. He has grown up. Master Roshi looked at the brightly lit house of Bulma next door, and a look of pity flashed in his eyes. It's so hard to have a beautiful girl come to visit, but there is not enough room. Oh, if only my house was bigger. Shishi also nodded. If only I could have my own house. Just then, Lan Xian with blue hair walked into the living room. I cut a lot of fruits. Did Goku and Bulma go to the next door? Shishi's eyes lit up and she stood up immediately. Ah, they went to the next door. I'll send them a plate. Lan Chi smiled and said, Shishi is really sensible. That's hard work. Not hard. 5. Chapter 56 Gravity Bracelet. Bulma knew that after the martial arts tournament, Goku was supposed to go find the 4 stars, his grandfather's legacy. So on the way to find the 4 stars, he had a feud with the Red Ribbon Army. So many chain events happened later. But this world is different. Son Gohan is not dead, so there is no point in looking for the Dragon Ball. So Bulma planned to put all her energy into Son Goku, to make him stronger than he was in the original history. This is why Bulma wanted to come to Kame House. Before going back, Bulma took everyone to the source of the river to dredge the river. That was the territory of the dinosaur man Keenan. With Goku's face, Bulma directly asked Keenan to discipline their people and stop blocking the river. The total time consumed was only an hour. After the busy work, Bulma took everyone to Kame House. Kame House looks big, but there are only 2 bedrooms. Originally, Shishi and Lankai lived in 1 room. Goku, Krillin, and Master Roshi squeezed in another room. Bulma is an adult after all, and she can't squeeze with Ranchi anymore. Fortunately, Goku still has the capsule house that Bulma gave him. So, Goku and Bulma put the house not far from Master Roshi's house. And they stayed here at night. Bulma looked at the island behind him and couldn't help but sigh. So you live on this island? There are so many people living on this island. No wonder I couldn't find it. Son Goku nodded. Yes, there are many people living on this island. Many people order milk, so we practice by delivering milk. Moreover, this island is big enough, there is a river, and you can swim. Our previous practice was like 2 days in 1 day, busy and tiring. Even rest was controlled, and rest was also counted as practice. Bulma smiled. Okay, then I forgive you for not coming to me. I invented something at home, I'll give you a gift. As she said that, Bulma took out a bracelet and handed it to Son Goku. Huh, what is this? Son Goku took the bracelet given by Bulma and pondered it secretly. Suddenly, he thought of the device that Son Gohan had in the original work, which would transform into the costume of Super Saiyan Superman with 1 click. Son Goku couldn't help asking, is it a dressing bracelet? Bulma raised her eyebrows. Dressing bracelet? Just click a button and you will change your clothes. Bulma shrugged. Am I sick? Why did you study for so long and make that thing? As she said that, Bulma took out a cigarette and lit it by herself. Hearing that it was not a dressing bracelet, Son Goku was stunned again. Then what is this you gave me? Bulma took a puff of cigarette and said, I see you always practice with a tortoise shell on your back every day. It's too ugly and affects your movements. So I researched some things at home and made a gravity bracelet for you. As long as you wear this bracelet, you can adjust your own weight. You can adjust your weight to 0.1 times, 10 times the current weight, and adjust d.1 times your weight in each level. Son Goku was surprised. Gravity bracelet. Bulma nodded. Yeah, yes, isn't this more convenient than a tortoise shell? In the future, if you want to practice, just adjust the multiple and press it, and you will be loaded according to the multiple of your weight. When you get used to the gravity and want to improve it again, then adjust it again, up to 10 times. In fact, I can also make 100 times, but the materials are hard to get. And it's too dangerous to make you a 100 times gravity bracelet. You are still young, and 100 times gravity may crush you at once. So I didn't make it so high. It's better to do it step by step. Son Goku was very surprised. He touched the bracelet and his eyes were full of excitement. Bulma, you are so amazing. Originally, Son Goku was thinking that when he was strong enough, he would ask Bulma to help him study the gravity room. As a result, before he could say anything, she took the initiative to study the gravity bracelet. This is something that has never appeared in the original book. This thing is much more practical than the gravity room. After all, the gravity room is fixed there, and you can only practice in it. The gravity bracelet is different. As long as you wear it, you can carry weight wherever you want to practice. With this, why worry about not being able to improve your strength? Son Goku is so happy. See, Goku was as happy as a child, and Bulma also showed a bright smile on her face. Said, as long as you like it. I like it, of course I like it. Son Goku continued, well, Bulma, I will try double gravity now. How to do it? There is only one button. Bulma explained, press the button, let it bounce up, and move the paddle down. Ask for flowers. Son Goku nodded, yeah. Son Goku followed Bulma's instructions and began to adjust the gravity. When he fiddled with the paddle, he immediately felt his burden increased. Fiddled with it again, it increased again. Until the bracelet's multiplier was adjusted to 4 times, Son Goku felt the effort of moving. Bulma looked at the multiplier and was shocked. Hey, don't play with your life. 4 times the gravity right after you come up will crush you. Son Goku nodded and immediately fiddled with the paddle back. Finally, the gravity was adjusted to 2 times his own gravity, which was the most suitable weight for him at the moment. Great, starting tomorrow, I don't have to carry the turtle shell. I can take it with them to practice. Bulma smiled with her hands on her hips, if you show off to them, Shishi and Krillin will probably ask me for it. Son Goku was stunned, what should I do? Bulma shrugged, what can I do? They are all your friends. I am embarrassed to not give them. I will work overtime tonight and make 2 more. Give 1 to each of them. Thank you, Bulma. Bulma blew out a smoke ring and smiled faintly, I haven't seen you for a year, and you are polite to me again. Hehe. Bulma put out the cigarette butt and said, okay, don't you say you still have to practice tomorrow? Go take a shower and go to bed. As she said that, Bulma pushed Goku into the bathroom. Let me give you a bath, and let me check it by the way. I haven't seen little Goku for a year. He has grown up. Master Roshi looked at the brightly lit house of Bulma next door, and a look of pity flashed in his eyes. It's so hard to have a beautiful girl come to visit, but there is not enough room. Oh, if only my house was bigger. Shishi also nodded, if only I could have my own house. Just then, Lan Xian with blue hair walked into the living room. I cut a lot of fruits. Did Goku and Bulma go to the next door? Shishi's eyes lit up and she stood up immediately. Ah, they went to the next door. I'll send them a plate. Lan Chi smiled and said, Shishi is really sensible. That's hard work. Not hard. 5. Chapter 57 Dragon Ball and Pirate's Treasure. The next day, the 3 of them no longer had to carry the turtle shells and continued to practice. In their spare time, Master Roshi also taught them breath control. In a blink of an eye, Son Goku, Krillin, and Shishi have been practicing on the island for another 2 months. Not only has Goku's strength improved, even Krillin and Shishi can adapt to triple gravity, and they have made great progress. On this day, the 3 of them finished their practice and caught 2 fish and a dinosaur. Taking advantage of the cool weather, the 3 of them were having a barbecue with Master Roshi, Lan Chi, and Bulma. Suddenly, the whole island was in a panic. A group of armed soldiers surrounded the Kame house and pointed their guns at them. If you don't want to die, get up and help us find the Dragon Ball in the sea. Bulma was stunned, looked up at the armed soldiers who came over, and suddenly saw the logo on their clothes, and her pupils shrank. Are you, the Red Ribbon Army? The man looked at Bulma, and then saw Lan Chi, and couldn't help but be stunned. Oh, these 2 girls are so pretty, why don't you play with us? Bulma frowned and turned to look at Goku. Goku, they are bad guys, beat them. Understood. Before Goku could move, Lan Chi curled her lips, picked up a machine gun and fired at the Red Ribbon Army. As for the people in Kame house, except for Bulma who has no martial arts, the others are not good people. Master Roshi is needless to say, Krillin and Shishi are also invulnerable. It was effortless to deal with a few soldiers. In just a few breaths, not only were several soldiers knocked down, but even the planes in the sky were blown down by ki blast. Master Roshi asked curiously, who are they and why are they here? Bulma took out the Dragon Ball radar, pressed it a few times, and said, I think I know why they are here. Krillin, why? Shishi said, because they want to collect the Dragon Balls to make a wish. Bulma nodded, yes, it's for some ambitious wishes. There is a Dragon Ball in the sea near the island where we live. Their radar is not that accurate and it is not easy to find. If you only know the approximate location, finding a Dragon Ball in the sea is about the same difficulty as fishing 13 needles in the sea. There are only a few scattered islands nearby, and it happens that the island where we live has the most people. The Red Ribbon Army naturally wants to enslave the people on this island and work hard to find the Dragon Ball for them. So what just happened. Shishi, Krillin and others suddenly realized. So that's how it is. To use force to coerce the villagers on the island for their own selfish desires is so abominable. Krillin looked at Master Roshi and said, Master Wu Tian, let's take action to kill those bad guys. Master Roshi scratched his bald head and asked, but do you know who they are? Shishi said indignantly, they are bad guys anyway. As martial artists, we should punish evil and promote good. Krillin, Shishi is right. For the villagers, I want to defeat them. Shishi looked at Goku and asked, Goku, are you coming? Of course. Son Goku didn't hesitate at all. He had forgotten about the Red Ribbon Army. He just wanted to become stronger, and he didn't expect not to provoke them. But he didn't expect that they would come here to cause trouble and enslave the villagers. There was even a reason to beat them. Bulma looked at Krillin, Shishi, and Goku, who were full of justice and wanted to kill the Red Ribbon Army. A strange idea came into her mind. Even if I didn't actively provoke them in this life, I would still be enemies with them. It seems that the Red Ribbon Army is an old enemy and there is no way to avoid it. Bulma stood up. They are the world's largest evil organization, the Red Ribbon Army. For many years, they have been doing evil and doing whatever they want in the world. In recent years, they have become even more rampant. It seems that martial artists like you are really needed to deal with them. Red Ribbon Army. Shishi scratched his head and said, I seem to have heard of it somewhere. Krillin was suddenly startled. What? The guys who just attacked us are from the Red Ribbon Army. Bulma nodded. Yes. Krillin's legs suddenly became weak. It's over, it's over. It's rumored that they are a group of extremely vicious organizations. Shishi looked at Krillin. Why, Krillin, are you scared? How can I not be scared? They are an arms organization with an army. There are only a few of us, how can we possibly beat them? Son Goku stood up, patted Krillin on the shoulder, and said, Krillin, don't be afraid. The three of us are the top masters of the Martial Arts Association, and we are all invulnerable to swords and guns. With our strength, we can easily defeat them. Shishi immediately agreed, Goku is right, we are masters, and defeating them is no problem. Krillin's pupils shrank. Oh, I forgot if you didn't tell me. We have become so powerful without realizing it. Master Roshi came over and said, it's not a problem to defeat them. We just need to think about how to rescue the villagers on these islands. We need to use our brains. Bulma smiled and said, this is easy. Their target is not the residents, but the Dragon Ball. Only if they see the Dragon Ball will they stop enslaving the residents of these islands. Goku looked at Bulma and asked, Bulma, to fish for the Dragon Ball in the sea, you should dive very deep. Do you have a submarine? Bulma shook her head, no, but. Bulma looked at Master Roshi and asked, Master Roshi should have a submarine here, can you lend it to me? Krillin suddenly thought of something. By the way, I heard that there are pirates' treasures hidden in the seabed in this area. It would be even better if we can find it together. In the future, I will have money to buy a house and marry a wife. Master Roshi laughed and said, finding treasure is not that easy. I bought my submarine just to find the pirates' treasure. It can be used as a plane and a submarine. Unfortunately, I haven't found it after searching for a long time. Bulma smiled faintly, treasure is reserved for those who are destined to be with you. If you are not destined to be with us, you will naturally not find it. Lend us the submarine, and when we find the treasure, we will give you some, which will definitely be enough for your retirement. Soon, Bulma drove the submarine and dived into the seabed with Goku, Krillin, and Shishi. As the submarine went deeper, the radar reaction became more and more intense. Here, right below this. I can't see it at all. Bulma looked around and said, this is a trench, the Dragon Ball should be deep inside. But the submarine is too big, so only one person can dive down to find it. Son Goku said, leave it to me, help me put on the diving suit, and give me the radar. Okay, but the Dragon Ball radar is not waterproof at depth, so I'll take it. But the diving suit has a communicator, I'll show you the direction, and you go find it. Okay. Soon, Son Goku entered the trench in his diving suit. Bulma and others were waiting for Goku above the trench, and they contacted him and told him the location. Bulma, Goku, left, look to the left. Got it. Bulma, stop, Goku, you're in the right position, speed up and dive down. Got it. Bulma, can you go faster, Goku? Use the gravity bracelet, add a little gravity, and you can fall quickly. Goku, oh, I didn't expect this thing to be so useful. Bulma, I found the Dragon Ball. Bring it up quickly. Suddenly, many submarines and people in diving suits appeared around them. Krillin was stunned. Who are they? Bulma looked at the submarines, and the Red Ribbon Army's logo was very eye-catching. She immediately said, it's the Red Ribbon Army. Those people in diving suits should be the villagers they enslaved, helping them to go down to the trench to look for Dragon Ball. Just then, a submarine suddenly drove towards them, and even started shooting at them. Krillin was shocked. Oh no, their submarines actually have weapons, let's go. Goku, what happened up there? Shishi, there are enemies attacking us. Goku, you guys run quickly and lead them away. When they leave, I can lower the gravity bracelet and quickly leave the seabed. Shishi, Goku is so smart. Bulma knew that Goku had a way to leave, so she quickly drove the submarine away. The people of the Red Ribbon Army saw them fleeing, thinking that they had Dragon Ball in their hands. Ball immediately sent people to chase. Soon, Bulma drove the submarine and came to a cave along the direction of the trench. Krillin looked at the submarine chasing behind him and urged, hurry, hurry up. This is the deep sea. If they break the submarine, we will be dead. Bulma's face was normal, and she skillfully controlled the submarine and went deep into the cave. Soon, the hole in the seabed narrowed, and their submarine could still come in. But the big submarine of the Red Ribbon Army could not come in. Krillin was surprised and said, great, their ships can't come in, let's run. As soon as the voice fell, a small submarine emerged from the big submarine of the Red Ribbon Army, chased them. The three fled for a while, and suddenly found that the hole here was facing upwards. Bulma's face lit up. Great, I should remember correctly, this seems to be the place where the treasure is placed. Shishi asked curiously, Bulma, have you been here before? Bulma, I guess I have been here before. But it was in the last life, Bulma didn't say. Just then, a torpedo suddenly fired at them. Krillin was shocked. Run, Bulma, there's a torpedo. Bulma gently controlled the submarine and easily avoided the torpedo. Krillin was overjoyed and praised, Bulma, your posture skills are so amazing. Bulma turned up her nose and smiled, that's right, I'm the eldest daughter of the capsule company, and I have decades of driving skills. It's just that this submarine has no weapons, otherwise I can sink all their submarines. Shishi scratched his head, are you 20 years old? Where do you get decades of driving skills? Bulma, just think of me as bragging? I'm going to stop soon, let me make it clear that I don't know martial arts and I'm afraid of their weapons. After stopping for a while, I'll run forward. If they catch up, you two will deal with them. Shishi and Krillin nodded. Don't worry, leave it to us. Soon, several people boarded the submarine and emerged from the water in a cave-like place. Bulma looked at the submarine. With her unskillful body, it was impossible to quickly fold it up. But Shishi and Krillin were both martial artists, so they had no problem. So she said, Shishi, Krillin, please help me put the submarine into the rubber ring. Shishi and Krillin nodded and started the operation immediately. In just a few dozen seconds, the two helped to fold the submarine. Who knew that just as Krillin finished folding the submarine, several submarines of the Red Ribbon Army appeared. The cover of the submarine was opened, and several burly men came out with guns. He, where are you running to? If you don't want to die, hand over the Dragon Ball quickly. Shishi and Krillin got ready. Bulma shouted a slogan for them, start fighting. After that, the two rushed towards the men. In just a few breaths, several big men were knocked down. At this moment, a big man from the Red Ribbon Army holding a machine gun immediately opened fire. However, the two of them made a gesture and caught the bullets with bare hands. The two of them wrestled their arms and walked towards the big man. Catching bullets with bare hands is not something that ordinary people can do. The big man was scared to death when he saw such a brave scene. Don't come over, there is a team of hundreds of people behind us. At this moment, a figure jumped out of the water. Krillin and Shishi saw who was coming and were overjoyed. Because this person was not an enemy, but Goku. Shishi and Krillin said in unison, Goku. Goku shook his hair and shook off most of the water stains. Then he looked at the two of them. Shishi, Krillin, you are all here, where is Bulma? 167. At this moment, Bulma's head popped out from the corner of the wall not far away. Goku, I'm here. Goku smiled faintly. They are all here, that's good. Krillin suddenly asked, Goku, why are you naked? This is the bottom of the sea. Son Goku nodded, yes, I found the Dragon Ball and just got out of the trench. They fired a torpedo and blew up my diving suit. I felt that I couldn't hold my breath to the surface of the sea, so I attacked their submarines on the bottom of the sea to find a diving suit to wear. In the end, I didn't find a diving suit, but I found an oxygen bottle to make do with. It happened that I saw you guys running in this direction, so I followed you. On the way, I found more than a dozen submarines, and they fired at me, but I solved them all. Shishi and Krillin took a breath. Krillin gave a thumbs up and praised, you are still strong enough, you wiped out all of them by yourself. Hearing that the enemies were all eliminated, Bulma also came over. Goku, since the enemies have been defeated, we are safe. So, should we leave immediately, or leave after finding the treasure? The few people looked at each other. Krillin suggested, how about going to find the treasure? With the treasure, we will never have to worry about money for the rest of our lives. Shishi nodded, although my father still has a lot of treasure in the castle, who doesn't want more money? Son Goku nodded, since we are here, let's go find it. I don't want to waste time making money when I grow up. Bulma nodded, okay, follow me, I know where the treasure is. As she said that, Bulma walked deep into the cave. Suddenly, Shishi stopped. What's wrong? Shishi turned around suddenly, rushed over, kicked the big man from the Red Ribbon Army unconscious. I almost forgot about him. If he tipped off the way, we would be in trouble. Goku gave a thumbs up, Shishi is really thoughtful. A moment later, the four of them came to a very modern corridor. There were countless holes on the walls on both sides and under their feet. Bulma, who had experienced it once, naturally knew that a spear could be shot out of this hole, which could kill people instantly. Before Bulma could say anything, Krillin walked in first. However, with just one step, a spear suddenly shot out from the wall on one side. Fortunately, Krillin was short and escaped this disaster. Bulma immediately said, why are you in such a hurry? This must be a trap set to prevent invaders from taking away the treasure. As long as you step on the switch on the floor, the secret passage on the wall will shoot out arrows. Shishi breathed a sigh of relief. Krillin, it's a good thing you are short, otherwise you would be dead. Krillin said angrily, impossible, I am so strong now. Bullets can't kill me, let alone this mere spear. Bulma was stunned for a moment and said, Krillin is right? Otherwise, you can help trigger the mechanism once, and we can walk through safely. Krillin was full of black lines. You are too bullying. Chapter 58 Defeat General Lan. Just when they were discussing how to pass this level, Son Goku took a few steps back, then rushed forward, and jumped directly from the starting point to the end point with a running start. He didn't land in the middle, and the mechanism was not triggered at all. Bulma looked at the little Goku on the opposite side and shrugged helplessly. It was the same method as in the previous life, and it was the little Goku who experienced it first. Goku stood on the opposite side, stretched out the Ruyi stick, and stretched it directly to Bulma's side. shouted, Bulma, you don't know martial arts, you can't jump over, hold my Ruyi stick and come over. Bulma's eyes lit up, and he secretly said, Goku in this life is really sensible, he knows how to love me. So, Bulma held the Ruyi stick and went to Goku's side. After Bulma passed, Krillin and Shishi both took a running start and easily jumped to the opposite side. Bulma looked a little curious. Not to mention Shishi, Krillin alone is much more powerful than he was in his previous life. When Bulma saw the bracelet on Krillin's hand, she remembered. It was just for Goku's training, and she had developed a gravity bracelet for him in advance. Because she gave it to Krillin and Shishi, it also helped Krillin become stronger. Bulma had been here in her previous life. This time, she brought 3 thugs with her, and there were no pursuers. She easily found the pirate's treasure. A whole box of gold jewelry. Gold is the least valuable. The most valuable is a big diamond, and then there are countless gems of all sizes. Looking at the dazzling array of jewelry, Krillin and Shishi's eyes lit up. Even Bulma likes shiny things. However, Goku is not very interested. This thing, as long as you get all the Dragon Balls, you can get as many as you want. It doesn't matter how much money you have, as long as you have enough to spend. These jewels were divided among them, enough for each of them to get hundreds of billions. But soon Shishi and Krillin were in trouble. Krillin said, but, so many jewels weigh several tons. How can we take them back in this place where there is no village or shop? Shishi's eyes lit up. Why don't we go back and buy some capsules and come back to surround them? Krillin, that makes sense. Bulma said, don't you all have gravity bracelets on your hands? Take it off and use it as a universal capsule. Several people were stunned. Hey, Bulma, you didn't tell us that this thing has this function. Bulma smiled. In fact, the reason why gravity is increased is that I used the technology of the universal capsule and put a lot of heavy things in it, using the function of the capsule to compress objects without using the function of reducing the weight of objects, and evenly transmitting gravity to people. As Bulma was talking, she suddenly found that several people were confused. They didn't understand at all. She stopped immediately and continued, forget it, these are all very profound sciences. You can't understand anyway, just use it. After installing these jewels, the maximum power of the bracelet can be increased. Before taking out the jewels in the future, you must use the bracelet carefully. Don't crush yourself to death due to operating errors. Several people nodded. Got it, thank you Bulma. Bulma smiled and said, you're welcome. These jewels can be installed by yourself. The rest will be left for Master Roshi to install for her. My family is not short of money, so I don't want treasures. So, the 3 of them picked and chose to pack the treasures. Anyway, the 3 of them couldn't tell which one was the most valuable, so they picked the good-looking ones and put them in their own packages. After a while, the 3 of them had almost packed. Bulma looked at the remaining treasures. Although it didn't seem to be much, it could actually be sold for tens of billions. So, after Bulma put the box into the universal capsule, she took the 3 of them on a submarine and left here. I'll tell you in advance that we are now at an all-out war with the Red Ribbon Army. As expected, our avatars have been registered with the Red Ribbon Army. You 3, you must kill them completely. Shishi and Krillin were shocked. Krillin, so efficient. Bulma, of course, they are a legion. Son Goku nodded, don't worry, Bulma. Anyway, we have almost reached the bottleneck of training with Master Roshi, so it's a good time to go out and gain experience. Shishi immediately agreed, Goku is right. With martial arts, we can also do justice. Bulma was a little dazed when she heard that the 3 of them were going. 3 little kids want to destroy a legion that is a disaster to the world. It's really funny to say it out. But if she hadn't been there, Bulma wouldn't have thought that. Goku, a guy with a slow brain, would become a Super Saiyan that only appears once in 1,000 years, and would become the top master in the universe. This mere legion is really not worth mentioning to him. Turtle House? Give me all these treasures. Master Roshi got excited. These treasures can be exchanged for money. Even if he goes to the club every day, it will be enough to play for 100 years. The big turtle looked at Master Roshi and suggested, why don't I keep it for you? You are so old, I am worried that you will hurt yourself. What are you talking about? This is a gift from my disciples. Just then, the blonde Lan Chi came over and pointed a machine gun at Master Roshi. Listen, don't move if you don't want to die. Several people were stunned. They turned their heads and looked at Lan Chi. Lan Chi, what are you going to do? Of course I want the treasure, hand it over quickly. Biu. Lan Chi took the lead and fired 2 shots at Master Roshi's feet. Master Roshi was sweating profusely. Oh no, Lan Chi has transformed again. It seems that we can only wait for her to recover and then get the treasure back. Master Roshi immediately pushed the treasure to Lan Chi. The blonde Lan Chi was quite strong and directly loaded the treasure onto the plane and drove away. Shishi said with some worry, I'm really worried that she will change back halfway and lose the treasure. Master Roshi frowned, Shishi, don't be such a pessimist. Hurry up and fly the plane to get her back. Shishi, but I can't fly a plane. Bulma, I'm afraid of being shot, so let's wait for her to come back. Krillin also agreed, yes, let's wait for her to come back. She has lived here for a year, she will definitely not run around. That's right, this is the only way. Master Roshi shrugged helplessly. Son Goku rubbed his stomach. I'm so hungry. Is there anything to eat in the house? Will there be nothing to eat after Ranchi left? Master Roshi said. Yes, there are a lot of food left in the refrigerator this morning. Go and eat it. That's great. Son Goku went into the house. Master Roshi's refrigerator is no different from his own. Son Goku opened the refrigerator door and started to show off. A moment later, before Goku was full, a cry for help came from outside the window. What's the matter? Son Goku stuffed a chicken leg into his mouth casually, and walked out of the house while eating. When he got outside, Son Goku was stunned. Bulma, Shishi, Krillin and even Master Roshi were tied up with ropes, all shouting, "Help! What's going on? Where did the rope come from? Damn, this rope is so strong, I can't break free." Krillin, I finally trained to be invulnerable, but a bomb came. Damn it, I don't want to be blown to pieces. At this moment, everyone saw Son Goku. Bulma was overjoyed. Goku is here, help us untie it, there are bad guys coming. Son Goku's eyes fixed. Can control the ropes to tie them up remotely. This seems to be the method of General Lan, the homosexual. Speak of the devil, and the devil will appear. General Lan walked towards the few people with his bare chest. Ha ha ha, you actually killed so many of us, it's not easy. However, my superpowers are still better, I tied you all up in one go. Master Roshi looked at General Lan and asked, who are you? General Blue smiled and said, don't worry about who I am. You found the Dragon Ball, right? Hand it over to me. Bulma snorted coldly, don't even think about it. Goku, get rid of him. Son Goku nodded, got it. Son Goku looked at General Blue. Tao Bibai was able to ignore General Blue's superpowers and kill him easily. At this moment, Goku didn't know whether he was stronger than Tao Bibai. After all, he hadn't climbed the Karen Tower yet. He was also calculating whether he could be immune to his superpowers. At the same time, he was also on guard against the other party's direct superpowers. Seeing that Goku was just a little kid, General Blue smiled evilly. Haha, a little kid, you want to get rid of me, you look down on me too much. While speaking, General Blue suddenly rushed towards Son Goku and attacked him. Seeing that he didn't use superpowers but attacked instead, Son Goku breathed a sigh of relief. Just when General Blue was about to attack Goku, Goku dodged the attack and hit General Blue's neck with a knife. Instantly, General Blue's body softened and fell to the ground. Seeing the enemy was knocked unconscious, everyone cheered. Great, Goku. Great job. Krillin, help us get out of this, it's so uncomfortable. Master Roshi suddenly shouted, Goku, throw the bomb away first, it's going to explode. Son Goku's eyes fixed, and sure enough, there was a time bomb near Master Roshi, flashing red light, as if it was about to explode. He didn't have time to think about it, and suddenly rushed to the bomb. Kicked hard, and the bomb flew high into the sky. Suddenly, a beautiful smoke burst in the sky. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Huh, that was a close call. It was so exciting, I almost died. Bulma looked up and breathed a sigh of relief when she saw that Goku was not restrained by superpowers. Originally, she wanted to remind Goku to be careful of the opponent's superpowers. But she was more afraid that if she shouted, the opponent would directly control Goku with superpowers. But fortunately, the opponent had never fought with Goku before. Seeing that he was just a child, he underestimated the enemy. He actually competed with Goku in physical skills, and this time he was directly defeated. Soon, Goku helped them untie the ropes, and then Bulma quickly tied up General Blue. Several people surrounded the tied General Blue and discussed how to deal with him. Or, just kill him. Bulma tried. After all, Master Roshi's disciples in the previous life were all kind. They almost never killed people, which was also a kind of practice in martial arts. However, this man had superpowers and almost killed them all just now. Bulma was always uneasy when he was alive. Hearing that he was going to kill him, General Blue's anus tightened, and he immediately said, don't kill me, I am General Blue under the marshal, if you kill me, Master will not spare you. Krillin smiled wickedly, really? It doesn't matter if he doesn't let us go. He almost blew us up just now. We have been fighting to the death for a long time. I heard that our avatars have been collected by you, so you guys don't plan to let your commander go. Blue General was stunned for a moment and asked, what did you say? I said, I don't plan to let your commander of the Red Ribbon Army go. Krillin said seriously. Blue General's expression stagnated for a while, and suddenly laughed. Several people were stunned. Bulma asked, what are you laughing at? Blue General continued, you can't kill me, I can see from your eyes that you are not that kind of person. Master Roshi suddenly stood up. Don't you look like that kind of person, someone who would kill people? Blue General looked at Master Roshi's funny look and nodded. That's right. Master Roshi took a deep breath. Disciples. Here. Shishi, Krillin and Goku answered in unison. Martial arts training is not for killing. But, when we meet evil people, we can't be soft-hearted. I felt a strong evil spirit from this person, which means that he has killed many people. Just now, if it weren't for Goku, I'm afraid we would all die here. Just then, Bulma came to Goku, whispered, Goku, this person is very dangerous, don't spare his life, please. Goku nodded and looked at Master Roshi. Teacher, we are. Son Goku responded first. Do you understand? I understand. Then what should we do? Master Roshi turned his head and looked at Son Goku. The next second, Son Goku pulled out the Rui stick and rushed towards General Blue. Wait. As soon as Master Roshi said this, Son Goku hit General Blue on the head with a stick. In an instant, like a watermelon bursting, General Blue was shattered to pieces. Then, Son Goku sent out an energy wave with one hand, completely crushing General Blue to dust. Then, Son Goku turned his head and looked at Master Roshi. Master Roshi scratched his numb scalp. Goku, what you did was too bloody. You can just hand him over to the police. Why be so cruel? Son Goku explained. No, Bulma said this man has superpowers. I'm worried that he will escape and endanger my friends. Master Roshi took a deep breath. Forget it, forget it. This time, thanks to you entering the house, Zhao, to eat, we were not tied up by him, otherwise we would be miserable. However, you should try not to kill people like this in the future. I am worried that you will go astray. The three of them assured Master Roshi, Teacher, don't worry, we will all become qualified martial artists. Bulma also discovered at this moment that although Master Roshi was lustful, he was actually quite dignified when teaching his disciples. At this moment, Lan Chi came back. Master Roshi's demeanor of a master immediately disappeared. He ran to Lan Chi's plane and asked, Lan Chi, where is my treasure? Lan Chi scratched his head. What treasure? I don't remember it. Master Roshi was shocked. What? How can you not remember it? That's the money I'm going to the club to be a young model. Oh no, that's my retirement money. Bulma sighed. The old man returned to his nature. I shouldn't have left him some treasure. I can only say that Lan Chi robbed it beautifully. After rescuing the villagers on this island, they all returned to Kame House. What should we do now? Should we go directly to the headquarters of the Red Ribbon Army, or look for the Dragon Ball first? Bulma took out the Dragon Ball radar and pressed a few times. According to the radar, there is only one Dragon Ball in the headquarters of the Red Ribbon Army. According to their efficiency, in order to find the remaining few Dragon Balls, they have to harm the villagers in many places. I suggest that we follow the distribution of Dragon Balls while looking for Dragon Balls and rescuing the villagers. Shishi nodded. I agree. Krillin frowned. That's so troublesome. In my opinion, we should capture the king first. Fight to their headquarters, and capture their commander-in-chief. Bulma shook his head and said, Krillin, you think the army is too simple. If only the commander-in-chief died, there would be other ambitious people to replace him. We can't possibly kill hundreds of thousands of Red Ribbon Army soldiers in one go, right? What if all their cannons are pointed at us? We won't even have anywhere to run. Don't underestimate the enemy. Chapter 59, March to Masruda. Several people continued to discuss strategies. The other party is an arms group, and the firepower must be very strong. We have to be careful. Bulma thought about the tactics and said, if it is a battle, I am not good at it. But I am more thoughtful than you think when it comes to making plans. So you should all listen to me. I suggest defeating them one by one. The Red Ribbon Army is a behemoth. Only by defeating it from multiple angles and disintegrating it from the inside out can it be prevented from reviving, and other ambitious people in the Red Ribbon Army can be prevented from regrouping and doing something terrible. After listening to Bulma's analysis, several people nodded in agreement. Krillin, what Bulma said makes sense. Goku, what do you think? Well, I agree with Bulma's proposal. Bulma held the Dragon Ball and said, well, let's set off now. During the discussion, I have already made a plan. The first stop is to go to Masruda. Okay, a village near Masruda in the north. Snowflakes fluttered down from the sky, like countless white elves dancing in the air. They spun and fluttered lightly, sometimes interweaving into a silver mist, and sometimes quietly scattered on the ground, covering a thick layer of snow. This world seemed to be gently covered by a layer of pure silver gauze, beautiful as a poem. Originally, in such weather, people should stay in the house by the stove, warm up a pot of good wine, put out a few dishes and chat about life, waiting for the arrival of spring. However, since a group of armed men came here, the lives of the villagers have changed. In the white snow, a dozen people from the Red Ribbon Corps wore thick coats, held steel guns, and drove almost all the people in the village out. In the biting cold wind, they asked them to dig through the snow and find Dragon Ball for them. Hurry up and find it. Why are you dawdling? No one can go back until the Dragon Ball is found. The bitter north wind blew, and an old man's cotton hat was blown off. The biting cold entered his body, and the old man shivered. If he didn't take good warming measures, he would freeze to death in a few minutes in this weather. He ran over to pick up the hat, but as soon as he stretched out his hand, suddenly, Bayu, a bullet pierced the back of his head. The bullet shot onto the snow with warm blood, and a bright rose bloomed. The old man stretched out his hand and wanted to reach forward, and wanted to reach his hat. Unfortunately, his eyes had lost their spirit. The extremely cold weather immediately turned his body into a monument. The old man fell down, and the thick snow squeaked under his body. The other villagers couldn't help but look over. 820. When they saw the red in front of the old man and the old man who fell down, their pupils shrank. Dad, Grandpa. In the crowd, two young men and a little red-haired girl hurriedly ran towards the old man. The little red-haired girl ran one step and fell. Suddenly, two bullets came and penetrated the heads of the two young men. Two red roses bloomed in the snow. Only the little girl escaped by luck. But her grandfather, her parents, and her whole family were dead. At this moment, her eyes were full of fear. Behind the villagers, a man with a gun casually put away his gun and took a puff of cigarette. Then he looked at the old man and several young men who fell to the ground with disdain, and then looked at the villagers who were working. He cursed, "Be careful, whoever wants to run again. I won't ask for the reason, I will go directly to the Institute of Technology. Who the hell doesn't want to be warm in the house? I don't want to be on duty here for the next few days, damn it. Hurry up and work. Seeing a family die tragically on the spot, the villagers who were forced to find the Dragon Ball were scared. They were worse than beasts, killing people like grass stems. In order to survive, they could only increase their efforts, and began to dig snow to continue looking for the traces of the Dragon Ball. The little girl also held back the tears in her eyes, swallowed her sobs, and continued to dig in the snow. Bulma's plane. Shishi sat by the window, looking at the scenery outside the window, and sighed, wow, it's so beautiful outside, with ice and snow. Krillin, who was wearing a thick cotton coat, said, Bulma is thoughtful. If we came here directly, I'm afraid we would all be frozen to death. Son Goku said, the climate here is really too cold, it's probably minus 20 degrees. Bulma smiled and said, you know the temperature inside. If nothing unexpected happens, the temperature here has reached minus 35 degrees. Son Goku looked at the falling snow outside and sighed, minus 35 degrees, it's terrible. Fortunately, I didn't ride the cloud, otherwise I would have frozen to death. I don't know if the villagers will be forced to find things outside in such a day. Krillin smiled and said, how is it possible? Even if they are from the Red Ribbon Army, they are still human after all. They won't do such beastly things. Bulma, who was flying the plane, showed a hint of hesitation on his face. There are indeed many kind people in the world. However, don't believe in some evil people. Some people have no bottom line. Shishi was curious and said, no way, it's so cold. They can still come out to work, how bad can those people be? Suddenly, through the glass, a figure came into Shishi's eyes. In the ice and snow, many people were pointed at by the Red Ribbon Army with guns, digging in the snow to find things. Shishi was very smart and knew what they were doing at a glance. It must be the same as what they did near Kame Island, using force to force the villagers to find the Dragon Ball for them. Shishi shouted immediately, Bulma, there are people from the Red Ribbon Army below. They are forcing the poor villagers, and it seems that we need to take action. Bulma nodded, it has been detected, and the Dragon Ball is also nearby. You all sit down, we are about to land. After a while, Bulma stopped the plane a kilometer away from them, and everyone got off the plane. Goku, Shishi, and Krillin were all wearing thick cotton clothes. They looked at each other, and Krillin said, let's see who has knocked down more bad guys. It must be me. Shishi said disdainfully. Bulma said, you two go and fight. Goku, pay attention to protecting the villagers, and try not to cause casualties. Okay. With that, the three of them trotted towards the group. When the Red Ribbon Army saw someone running over, they were still aggressive and immediately pointed a gun at them. Who are you? Kid, stop right there. However, how could Shishi and Krillin listen to them? They swung their fists and rushed up to beat anyone wearing Red Ribbon Army uniforms. The other Red Ribbon Army members saw them coming up and started fighting, and immediately shot at them. However, after a hail of bullets, they were not hurt at all. The scene of being invulnerable to swords and guns stunned the villagers. In just a moment, all the Red Ribbon Army members were knocked down. The villagers stopped their work and looked at the three little guys in astonishment. Who are you? Krillin looked at the villagers and said, don't be afraid, we are here to find Dragon Ball. What? Looking for Dragon Ball? After Krillin said this, the others were even more scared. I thought you were here to save us, but you're here to find the Dragon Ball. Will you give us a chance to live? Although there were many villagers, they were all trembling. At this moment, Bulma came over. Don't be afraid, everyone. We are here to destroy the Red Ribbon Army. We need you to provide some information. What? To destroy the Red Ribbon Army? Thinking of the three little guys' sharp martial arts and their invulnerability, the villagers actually believed it. However, they didn't know what to say. Bulma looked at everyone and said, it's too cold here. Even if we wear cotton clothes, we may be frozen. Why don't you take us to your village to warm up and talk slowly? After hearing that they were asked to go back to the house, many villagers immediately started to act. After all, it's so cold, and you can freeze to death here if you are not careful. So, the villagers started to go back. However, a little girl did not leave, but walked to a snow pile and dug the snow away with force. Krillin walked towards the little girl and said, okay, stop it. No one will force you to find Dragon Ball in the future. Go back to the house to keep warm. However, at this moment, the little girl pushed away the snow pile and revealed a human face. Krillin's eyes fixed, and he immediately cleared the snow. Goku and Shishi also saw the abnormality and came to help immediately. Soon, BDCC, the snow was cleared, and three bodies appeared in front of them. The little red-haired girl knelt on the ground, threw herself on the bodies and cried loudly, Dad, Mom, Grandpa, Assos. Shishi and Krillin's faces instantly became ugly. When they were in Kame House, they thought that a legion actually forced the villagers on the island to find Dragon Ball was just a little too much. But seeing that the whole family of this little girl was killed, they suddenly realized the bloodiness of the Red Ribbon Army. The two were deeply shocked. Damn it! How can they be so cruel? Bulma advised, let's go, if you stay here for too long, you will freeze. Goku, Shishi, Krillin, their bodies will be handed over to you three. The cold wind was still howling, and it was indeed not suitable to stay here for a long time. If they don't move, they will become ice sculptures in a while. Soon, Krillin, Shishi and Goku each carried a corpse, and followed the little girl back to the village, back to the red-haired girl's home. After several villagers explained, Krillin, Shishi and Bulma understood what was going on. It was almost as they expected. The Red Ribbon Army's radar found that there was a Dragon Ball nearby, so they sent soldiers here to look for it. However, they consumed a lot of troops and still couldn't find it. Later, they found the village and forced the villagers to start looking for the Dragon Ball for them. Because the upper level urged them to do so, even because they didn't find the Dragon Ball for a long time, an officer was shot dead. So, these people oppressed the villagers more and more. So far, in just 2 months, dozens of villagers have been brutally killed. These bastards. Shishi said angrily, damn it, I thought it was just a few leaders who were too ambitious. But I didn't expect that even the soldiers below were so cruel. Son Goku also nodded in agreement. Son Goku, who is familiar with the plot, understands that the purpose of the Red Ribbon Army's marshal to collect Dragon Balls is to grow taller. So, at first, he just thought that these people were a bunch of jokes, and the soldiers under their command were ordinary people. After all, they were warlords, and even if they were a little arrogant, it was understandable. They were not so bad and inhumane, so he didn't take it to heart. However, when he saw with his own eyes that so many lives were taken by the Red Ribbon Army, he immediately became uneasy. According to the original work, little Goku came here as soon as the martial arts meeting was over, destroyed Masruda and saved the villagers. But he went back to Kame House to continue training. He felt a little guilty. If he had come here after the world #1 martial arts tournament, so many people would not have died. Seeing Shishi, Goku and Krillin all indignant, and even going to destroy Masruda directly and kill all the Red Ribbon Army, Bulma smiled. Don't be impulsive, and don't be so angry. Have you all forgotten? We have Dragon Balls. As long as we gather all the Dragon Balls, the dead can be resurrected. However, the village chief is still imprisoned in Masruda. If you kill the village chief when you destroy Masruda, then Dragon Ball can't make a wish to resurrect all the people who should be resurrected at once. Hearing the Dragon Ball, Son Goku, Shishi, and Krillin's faces lit up. Yes, we still have Dragon Ball. Krillin said with bright eyes, Bulma is right. We can make a wish to revive the villagers killed by the Red Ribbon Army. Yes, that's right. Why didn't I think of Dragon Ball? Shishi also echoed. The little girl in the room was stunned. You said that if we collect all the Dragon Balls, my dead grandfather and parents can be resurrected. Her eyes kept scanning several people, trying to find someone to answer her directly. Krillin looked at the girl and nodded. Yes, Bulma and Goku once collected all the Dragon Balls. Collecting 7 Dragon Balls can summon Shenron and revive people. The girl's face, which was originally red from crying, instantly ignited hope and looked at Krillin seriously. Really? That's great. She held Krillin's hand and said excitedly, then I'll leave it to you. You must help us kill those bad guys and revive my family. No matter how much money you want, I will find a way to give it to you. Suddenly being stared at by a girl, Krillin's face suddenly turned red. However, after seeing the corpse on the ground, Krillin looked at the girl seriously again. We don't charge money. In addition, don't worry, the bad guys will be eliminated, and your family will be resurrected. Wait for us. Thank you, thank you. The girl bowed to Krillin first, and then bowed to Son Goku, Shishi, and Bulma. Krillin immediately helped her up, and then looked at Goku and his group. Goku, Shishi, let's go and kill them together now. Son Goku and Shishi nodded at the same time. Bulma looked at the little girl and said, but, not only do you have to take good care of the bodies of your family members, you also have to ask the villagers to keep the bodies of their family members and wait for the summer event. The girl nodded. Well, thank you for reminding me, big sister. The Red Ribbon Army is in a hurry, and the bodies of the villagers have not been buried yet. In addition, the weather is cold now, so their bodies will not be damaged. Bulma nodded. That's good, take care, we're leaving. Thank you. After that, several people took Bulma's plane and headed straight for Masruda. A moment later, Bulma, I feel the distance is about right. If our plane is hit, it will be bad. Son Goku nodded. Let's land here, we'll walk over. Shishi and Krillin nodded. Bulma, let's land here. Okay. A moment later, the 4 of them arrived at the foot of Masruda. The loudspeaker on the tower immediately shouted, who dares to trespass into Masruda? Do you want to die? At the same time, a group of armed men appeared at the gate and pointed at the 4 people. Krillin and Shishi looked at each other. Instantly, the 2 rushed towards them. Bulma squatted down and hid behind Goku. Goku, you have to protect me. If I get shot, I will die. I should have known not to bring you. Chapter 60 Terminator, Ninja. West, Red Ribbon Army Headquarters. Marshal Red, smoking a cigar, angrily scolded his subordinates. A bunch of rubbish. A few little devils actually got the upper hand. Adjutant Black's forehead was covered with cold sweat, and he said respectfully, Marshal, calm down. The Dragon Ball radar can only show the approximate location of the Dragon Ball, which is a bottomless sea, and it is naturally very difficult to find it. Maybe they were lucky, so they found the Dragon Ball first. The Marshal took a puff of his cigar and angrily said, lucky? Other places have obviously had Dragon Ball reactions. Why have they only got 1 Dragon Ball so far? There are so many of us, but we are not as lucky as a few little devils. Adjutant Black swallowed hard. Marshal Red, there is no other way. By the way, we originally wanted to send a large force to catch them. but the radar showed that the location of the Dragon Ball they got had changed, and it was approaching Masroda at the moment. I guess they also have Dragon Ball radars, and their accuracy is higher than ours. Red Marshall's face was livid and he questioned, "What? You said their radars are more accurate than ours? What a joke, our army has so many excellent scientists." Adjutant Black wiped the sweat from his forehead and said, "Marshall, we didn't believe this fact at first. But we scanned the profile pictures of several of them. The profile picture of one of the blue-haired girls is very similar to the profile picture of the second lady of the Universal Capsule Company. Then, we sent people to conduct an in-depth investigation. It was later discovered that the girl was really the second lady of the Universal Capsule, Bulma. The others were also martial arts masters who appeared in the world's #1 martial arts meeting." Hearing this, Red Marshall's anger immediately subsided. He touched his chin. If it is true that the daughter of the chairman of the Universal Capsule Company is involved, it may be true that the accuracy of the Dragon Ball radar is higher than ours. After all, for someone who can make a universal capsule, it is not a problem to make an accurate Dragon Ball radar. As for the other martial arts masters, don't worry about them. No matter how powerful they are, can they withstand our guns and cannons? Adjutant Black's face also eased a little. "Well, Marshall, Miss Bulma is not easy to find. But her father, Dr. Brief, is far away in the West City. Should we send someone to capture him and threaten him to build an accurate radar?" Marshall Red's anger rose again. "Idiot, what's the point of engulfing? I want the Dragon Ball. What should I do? Please tell me, Marshall. The search for the Dragon Ball is still going on as planned. We can even increase the intensity. In addition, keep the Brief couple under surveillance. But don't make any noise and don't let them find out. Anyway, we have a Dragon Ball in our hands, and they can't get them all. If Bulma can really find a few Dragon Balls, then capture the Brief couple. Let Bulma exchange the Dragon Ball in her hand with us." Adjutant Black showed admiration on his face. "Marshall, you are indeed farsighted." At this moment, the phone next to the Marshal suddenly rang. "Hello, is it General Bai? What's going on?" "What? Masruda was attacked. Who did it?" "3 children and a blue-haired woman. They were carrying 2 Dragon Balls. It must be them." At this moment, Adjutant Black approached the Marshal. "Marshal Hong, according to the data investigation, those martial artists are also very powerful. I suggest that they pay attention to it and mobilize the greatest force to kill them and take back the Dragon Ball." Seeing Adjutant Black approaching, Red Marshal angrily said, "Didn't I tell you not to stand next to me? Do you want me to look shorter?" Adjutant Black immediately took a few steps back. "Yes, sorry. Masruda, Shishi and Krillin showed their prowess and defeated countless guards." At this moment, the ground was in a mess. Shishi wiped the sweat from his forehead and said, "It's so warm in here." Krillin also wiped his sweat. "Yes, I'm sweating." Bulma said, "There is heating in here, take off your heavy coats." "Yeah." Several people quickly took off their heavy coats, leaving only a light martial arts uniform. Krillin moved around on the spot and said, "It's much more convenient to move now." Shishi also nodded, "Yes, now I can beat 10. Let's go." Gaku took Bulma and continued to move forward. Bulma immediately shouted, "Hey, you two hurry up, Gaku blocks the front, you block the back." Shishi and Krillin also hurriedly followed. A tall figure blocked the way of the 4 people. "I've been waiting for you for a long time. You can't get up unless you knock me down." Son Goku looked at the tall man. "He looks the same as the Terminator in the movie, but he is bigger than the Terminator." Shishi exclaimed, "Wow, this guy is so big." Krillin curled his lips and said disdainfully, "What's the use of height? Isn't this a straw bag? Leave this guy to me." Krillin moved his shoulders and arms and walked towards the Terminator. This guy was named Iron Sergeant. Seeing little Krillin walking towards him, Iron Sergeant's mouth twisted. "Huh, you're looking for death." As he spoke, Iron Sergeant punched Krillin. Krillin's figure flashed and dodged the punch. All of Tai Junko's punches hit the ground, and several tiles shattered instantly. Finding that he didn't hit, Tai Junko looked around. Where did he go? As he spoke, Krillin's figure fell from the sky, landed in front of Tai Junko, and kicked him hard in the face. Tai Junko's body tilted, and he retreated backwards. Krillin chased him and punched him hard. Bang! With a loud bang, Tai Junko fell heavily to the ground. Krillin shook his numb fist, turned his head and looked at Gaku and others, and said, "This man's bones are really hard, my hand hurts a little." Son Goku said, "This person should be a robot." "What? Robot? Impossible." Krillin was shocked. At this moment, Tai Junko, who was knocked down, stood up. He waved his big hand, and his huge palm grabbed the little Krillin. "It's bad." Tai Junzeo held Krillin with both hands, and the power was constantly concentrated on his arms and transmitted to the palms. "I'm going to crush you into a pulp." Krillin immediately struggled hard. "Damn, it hurts, Gaku, help." Son Goku raised his eyebrows. With Krillin's strength, he shouldn't be unable to break free. But he didn't think much about it, and jumped to the position of Tai Junzeo's face. Then turned around and kicked Tai Junzeo in the face. Tai Junzeo staggered back, and the power in his hands weakened a little. At this moment, Krillin used both hands to push away Tai Junzeo's thugs and quickly escaped from his palms. Krillin wiped the sweat from his forehead and said, "Damn, you almost crushed me to death." After Son Goku kicked Tai Junzeo over, he stood up again. This kick was not light, but Tai Junzeo seemed to be unscathed. Son Goku immediately recalled how the original little Goku killed him. But, he forgot. It shouldn't be very strong, but he just can't remember it. At this moment, Shishi's voice came over. Goku, Krillin, get out of the way. Krillin and Goku looked back and saw Shishi with both hands on his waist. Kamehameha has been condensed. The two were startled and immediately moved to the left and right, avoiding the center of Tai Junzeo and Shishi. In an instant, Shishi's hand flashed with white light, turning into a powerful ki blast and blasting Tai Junzeo. A flash of white light passed, and the air returned to tranquility. Tai Junzeo's head disappeared, but his body was still standing there stupidly. However, through the iron object on his neck and the sizzling sparks, several people also understood that this man was really a man-made man. Klin breathed a sigh of relief and praised, Shishi did a great job. However, when Klin looked at Shishi, he saw Shishi's surprised eyes. Shishi, what's wrong with you? Klin, go back. Klin looked back in a daze, only to see a huge fist hitting him. Klin, who didn't react, was suddenly smashed and flew out. Damn it. Why am I so unlucky? After knocking Krillin away, Iron Sergeant continued to sell Bulma. Son Goku didn't have time to think, and rushed up again, kicking Iron Sergeant over again. Looking at the headless Iron Sergeant, Son Goku scratched his head, and said, it can still move after the head is knocked off. It seems that the core of the machine is not the head. However, fists and feet can't hurt this guy, and Goku is also ready to use Kamehameha. So, he gathered his hands at his waist. Just as he was thinking about where to aim, Krillin's voice came again. Goku, get out of the way, let him taste my power. Goku was stunned and turned to look at Krillin. He saw him raise one hand high and condense the Chi Yuan Zhan. Son Goku's eyes lit up and he dodged immediately. A few days ago, Master Roshi told them about the use of breath and in-depth practice. While practicing breath to make the breath stronger, several people tried to use breath to create new tricks. Little Goku inspired Krillin to develop the Chi Yuan slash. Sure enough, he developed it in a short time. Against masters, the Chi Yuan slash has too much power and is too slow, so it is too easy to dodge. However, against this invulnerable big guy, the Chi Yuan slash is really a magical skill. Just when the Iron Sergeant just stood up, Krillin's Chi Yuan slash was thrown out. The Iron Sergeant still wanted to resist, and his huge fist hit the Chi Yuan slash. However, the Chi Yuan slash was indestructible and directly cut off his arm and his entire body. The Chi Yuan slash did not dissipate until it broke through the wall of the room and the cold wind leaked in. The next moment, the Iron Sergeant's body was divided into 4 and scattered all over the ground. A steel torso, 2 legs, and an arm. After a few sparks of electric sparks from the fragmented body, after a few short circuit sounds, it completely collapsed. Because it is a mechanical body, it does not look bloody. Shishi, Krillin and Goku all breathed a sigh of relief. This guy is really tough, finally killed. Bulma also wiped the cold sweat. You are too reckless, fortunately this guy has no bomb in his body. Son Goku. Bulma sighed, let's go upstairs. Let's go. After the 4-person tower went up the stairs, it turned out to be a green world. There are trees, flowers, and a river. Bulma couldn't help but be curious, isn't this the tower? It's so fancy. Who said it's not? Just at this time, a voice came out. You are finally here, but you should stop here. So far, no one has appeared who can defeat me, ha 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 ha. Bulma put his hands on his hips and said, sneaky, come out if you have the guts. Suddenly, several darts flew towards her. Son Goku was quick-witted and quickly pulled Bulma back. 4 darts were directly stuck in the ground in front of them. Bulma saw that the flying knives almost hit her and wiped the cold sweat. Thank you Goku, it was too dangerous just now. The voice of the ninja was heard again in the air. He, you are quite skilled, worthy of being able to reach the 4th floor. Shishi and Krillin quickly took precautions and looked around for the enemy's position. Son Goku suddenly felt a slight fluctuation of breath. It seemed that he was at that position. In the past 2 months, Goku has practiced breath perception. But he can only feel the breath around him, because he can't feel it when he is far away. Son Goku felt that he had not practiced it to the fullest, and the people on Earth were too weak. The breath strength of all the people on Earth was about the same, so the perception effect was too poor. Unexpectedly, it worked wonders in this quiet space. Son Goku instructed, Shishi, Krillin, protect Bulma, leave it to me. Okay. Krillin and Shishi nodded. As he spoke, Son Goku stomped a few steps on the ground and sprinted forward. He pulled out the Rui stick and smashed it at the source of the smell, which was a big tree. In an instant, countless branches of the big tree broke, and a figure fell from the tree. The man covered the big bump on his head, and tears were still in his eyes. Damn it, it hurts, it hurts. You actually found me, was it a coincidence? No, it's because your hiding method is too poor. The ninja said angrily, what a joke? I am the best ninja in Konoha, how could you see through me? Let me show you my invisibility technique. As he said that, the man quickly formed seals with his hands, and the next moment he turned into a cloud of smoke and disappeared. Son Goku continued to sense the breath. Besides the breath of Krillin, Shishi, and Bulma, there was only one breath that was suppressed to a very weak level. Where is it? Son Goku muttered as he walked. Suddenly, a bamboo pole standing upright by the stream came into view. Breath perception is not the perception of breathing. It is the vitality in the body. Son Goku has sensed that the ninja's breath is in the water. He turned around and looked at Shishi and Bulma. Shishi, Bulma, you two turn around, I'm going to pee first. Shishi blushed and immediately covered her eyes and turned around. Bulma, be serious, Ankong. Krillin, it's okay, Goku, I'll watch for you, it won't be dangerous. Son Goku nodded, and then peed towards the water. When he was almost done peeing, he aimed at the bamboo pole. In an instant, the ninja jumped out of the river. Damn it, you actually peed into the river, you have no manners. Son Goku pulled up his pants and said, you help the evil organization, and you still talk to me about manners. As a ninja, the employer pays me a commission, and I do things for the employer. What does manners have to do with it? My mission is to guard this level. You can't go up while I'm here. As the ninja spoke, he shook off the water on his body. Son Goku said, then I won't be polite. As he spoke, Son Goku made his opening gesture. The ninja's eyes turned cold. You've hit a snag if you want to use force. As he spoke, the ninja quickly formed seals with his hands. Clone technique. ABU. Suddenly, he turned into 5 ninjas. Hey, guess which one is the real me? Krillin and Shishi were stunned. You can actually clone yourself, so amazing. Krillin, which one is the real one? Son Goku's mouth curled up slightly. If you can use multiple shadow clones, it might be a little more troublesome, but 5 of them are not enough for me to fight. What? The ninja was shocked. At this moment, Son Goku's figure had already rushed towards them. A punch, a kick, a knife, a dunk, a whip kick. Son Goku's figure was like lightning, and his attack was extremely fast. The ninjas had no time to react before they were hit. 5 easy moves, the 5 ninjas fell to the ground with serious injuries. Krillin and Shishi looked at the 5 clones that fell to the ground, and they were curious. Krillin stepped on the head of the nearest ninja. Hey, you are real, right? The mountain is solid when you step on it.